I am waiting on Pebric still, I believe. I don't know what his username is for Kick on this Kick, not Kick messaging, but got Isaac or Marshall here. Wait, Blazing's coming in here in just a second, and we're gonna get this thing rolling. All that good stuff.
Okay, sounds good.
How the fuck is everybody doing? Out of curiosity on this fine Thursday, whatever it is. Oh, come here, one. Oh man. Okay, let's see. That's Blazing right there, right? I think. Is that you, Blazing? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's Blazing. Add him up to this thing real quick. Yeah, you don't have to show your face, man. You're good. Yeah, you don't have to show your face whatsoever. It's not your thing. It's not your thing. I'm not gonna make you. Yeah, no,
Looks like
I'm doing good, man. I got Marshall
looks like
Mathers the
his mic
seventh
is
in here too.
muted.
So I can't control his mic. That's gonna be a him thing.
Oh yeah, I know. I was just saying.
Oh, okay. Got you. I'm just making sure. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not really a big fan of
yeah.
StreamYard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's very foreign to me because usually I just use this right. Your thing to do. Typically.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Like, because we're still waiting on Pepper and all that good stuff.
Man, come on, Pebric. I'm waiting on your ass.
Let's see here. Oh, that's not Blazing. Okay, that's just somebody else.
Oh, huh.
That's fine. I mean, they can hang out down there. They just want to watch. They just want to watch. It's all good with me.
What was the username or the tag or whatever?
I'm pretty sure. I think that's either Marshall Mathers the seventh or somebody else. I'm not sure.
Huh. Interesting.
The tag is Superior Discourse. I think that's how you say that. I'm not sure.
Heard of whoever that is. I never heard of him or her.
I'm gonna have to remove them at the moment because I gotta leave them right here. But
Yeah.
I think I can. Actually, I can unmute their mics. That's very strange.
Interesting.
I didn't know I could do that. Can I actually do that?
Yeah, that's kind of
Oh,
that's
okay.
kind of cool. I mean,
because they chose to mute themselves, so I can actually voluntarily. Huh. Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. This StreamYard thing might be worthwhile looking into. I mean, I only use it for this because this is what you suggest. You can figure out Discord. I prefer Discord. Discord is what I prefer. It's much easier to use than this.
Yeah,
and you get more than 4 people. So that's
yeah.
one of my
I'm sure it is, and it's just that I myself have never really like known how to use like Discord.
It's not hard. It's just going over with a phone. I think all you have to do is just like enter a voice chat. You can just from there. Computer, you have to set up a mic and webcam and all that good stuff. Phone, I think it does it automatically.
Interesting.
So we're just waiting on Blazing and pop up and get this go on the road.
Yeah, I know.
If you guys are trying to chat, I don't do it how Tammy does, where the chats are coming through down there because I don't know how to do it. So just type all your stuff over there on that Kick channel there and just like mute one of the sources, I guess. It doesn't really matter which one. I don't know how to enable chat over here, I don't think. I mean, I guess I could figure it out a little bit. How do you do it? Probably something over here. Oh, there's a comments thing. Okay. Okay, so I can actually see them now. The live comments can show up there. So I guess you guys can type right there if you want to. I do have it set up now. I think.
Okay.
Oh, man. Now, you guys can feel free to type in there. I'll relay information if you guys want. Just want to watch this whole entire Fracos go down. Happening. Get this thing set up how I need it. I want to check it, but I also don't really want to check it. Gotta get me another one of these XL mouse pads. This one's been shredded to shit. The lights still work on it. I want. Oh man. Yeah, I was starting to play some PS5 shit too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Horizon, man, it's fucking dinosaur orgy. That's all it is—a mechanical dinosaur orgy. Redhead. It's a pretty good game. I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Interesting.
You know, I usually do game stuff. I mean, we're gonna probably drop gaming for my lives eventually. Ooh, I see a Pebric. What's up, dude?
What's up?
What's going on, man?
Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. Yeah. Is that a live doll back there?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Guys, it's Marshall Dominique Mathers the Eighth.
Here we go. Yeah, we're waiting on Blazing still. That's the last person I'm waiting to add. So Pebric's here with his better half, I see, and we're gonna get this thing cranking. How's that cookie business doing, man?
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. Pretty rough this whole week, but whatever. I mean,
business, man. It's
business. It gets a bit annoying sometimes, but you know, summertime it's going to get a lot more lighter work.
And you're out in Los Angeles?
Yeah, Los Angeles.
Yeah, you got a big customer base. Then you're like beaches, or you're like downtown, or whereabouts? Burbank.
Close, probably close by downtown.
By downtown, okay.
Maybe about not too far away from downtown, depending on the traffic, because it's a bitch over here.
Oh, I know it is, man. I've spent many. I don't live in California anymore, but I've spent hours in fucking Los Angeles traffic. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I deal with Atlanta traffic from time to time now. And Atlanta traffic's like taking Los Angeles traffic, but putting it at 80 miles per hour. Like a death trap. It's wild. Like really...
Yeah, you're guaranteed to be there for like an hour straight.
Yeah. Oh, I always thought it was faster to walk down it. To be honest.
Yeah.
It always looked like I was like, I mean, if you want to see some great people watching, though, you just watch people in their cars. I've seen dudes jerk it. I've seen dudes boogers, all sorts of shit. It's wild out there.
Yeah.
It's a crazy fucking place. I miss it, but, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me. Not anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm thinking of moving out of here, like, in a couple of years. It gets a little bit tired of just being in the big city, so...
Yeah, it loses its appeal really quickly, right? Because I'm from San Francisco. That's where I was born and raised. So,
all right.
You know, that's big city, but that's not like Los Angeles, like congestion and shit. It's fog and coldness, dead.
Yeah.
And fucking crazy crackheads, but that's another story. I'm just saying, if you want to see some weird fucking people, go to the Tenderloin, man. There's like bums that floss their teeth with razor blades out there. Oh yeah.
Oh well, I'm close by. I'm not too far away from Skid Row. You know
I mean, that's the same thing. That's like the SoCal version of it.
Oh, all right.
Without a doubt. Let's see, let's get this.
How's your day, Marshall?
It is how it is. How about you?
It's been a long time coming, but hey, good to hear from you to talk. Instead of going through Instagram and through YouTube comments.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I miss our conversations on Instagram.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah. I got the link posted. Let's see.
Man, Blazing is taking there.
It's fine. No, he's coming in right now. He has had to make his account.
Oh.
I don't know how.
Well, yeah.
I make accounts all the time. I understand a lot of people, like even of our generation, they may not necessarily. So, I'm a pretty patient person. I got me some Jacks today, which like shitty is like a terrible version of Jack in the Box. Those wings are pretty good though, man. Those little boneless barbecue wings, solid. I waited about 30 minutes for those. I was the only person in line. I was like, all right, whatever. Not that big. I'm fairly patient.
Well, yeah, another thing too. Oh, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I don't think you actually need to even make an account on this website, because some of the first interviews I did with like Tammy, and I think the first one I did with you, I didn't even make an account, and it's still like.
Oh no, because I don't have them on Instagram. I have you on Instagram. I don't have Pebric or Blazing, so I have to actually use my Kick Chat to do that, which you do have to have an account for.
Gotcha.
StreamYard, I don't think you need an account. I don't think I've ever made a login or anything.
Yeah, I don't.
Hey, Marshall, are you on your dad's Suburban, or what vehicle are you on?
Yeah, the Suburban.
Oh yeah, it's still running.
What?
It's still running.
Yeah, but it has problems and it shakes and rattles or whatever. If you go 70 in it or faster or whatever, like
I'll
I
get
mean, the
the full screen
fastest
going
it
for you
can
guys
probably go
momentarily.
without
I'm
completely
sorry
like
about that. I'm just waiting
breaking
for
and
everybody to get
stalling
here so
is
I can see.
probably 70, maybe 75. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm even surprised it goes up to that because it used to only go up to like 60 to 65, and then when you tried to go 70, it would just start like shaking like an old man, just who has like some sort of.
Are you sure just like the dashboard just wasn't loose? Because I've had that. I had a Suburban that had that same issue, and it was just the fucking dashboard being loose. Like the actual dashboard itself was just loose, like the plastic.
I don't. Yeah,
the
I don't
shell
think
was loose. Is it like a violent rattling? Is it just kind of like a like that kind of thing?
There you go.
Yeah, like that. But it sounds to me like it's like either the engine or transmission, something to do with that.
Blazing420.
Hi
This
guys.
is the man, the myth, the legend. You're an NF fan? I'll take it.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I saw him live in Atlanta not too long ago.
You guys
a couple years ago. Oh, pretty good, man. Got Marshall in here inside the Suburban trying to figure out what's going on with that.
Yeah, I decided to come.
I'm trying to get rid of this window at the bottom.
Oh, you're good.
I decided to come in my parents' Suburban since like I didn't want them to hear my live stream. Like, it's funny because I forgot that we were doing this more like at 7 because it we planned this for like
I never said noon. I had to wait on them because they're busy. He's got DoorDash.
Yeah, it's funny because we planned this like what was it last week or something?
We planned this in the making, you and I, before our interview had started, like during pre-chat, during the sound check and all that.
Oh yeah, And
I pitched you the idea, and I said that it'd be a very, very good idea for you to do that because I think they would get a little bit like a more like modicum of like respect for you if you did. If you can prove to people that you can keep to your words, that's a lot more commendable than running from people, And both these guys, they're not bad dudes. They're not bad dudes. We all want to help you, man. At the end of the day, but they do have some stuff. Yeah, we're just trying to help you. They got grievances, but we're gonna air that out and get that all figured out.
I just want to say that. So I was kind of a little bit disappointed that we couldn't do this like around noon. Not that I have a problem doing it now, but it's just like my parents were going to meet like a friend of theirs around noontime, and so it would have been like perfect during that time. But I mean, whatever, it is what it is. It's not a big deal, but it's just also that I forgot that we were doing it at 7 because like you and I planned this like for a week or two or something. So, and I mean, I talk to a lot of people on Instagram, and do a lot of stuff in life. So it's easy for me to like forget a lot of my conversations I have with like you or any people on the internet. So.
Oh yeah, you go like days without checking. I was like, this motherfucker ghosts me. He's not responsible for about a week and a half. Because they were asking me about that. Like, you heard from him? Like, I don't know where he went, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, last weekend I went with my dad to this type of religious retreat, a Catholic thing, which is called Crisio, and it actually cost money too. I don't know if it costs money like if you want to go like a second time, third time, but they only do like one a year. But they also have reunions, and I think my dad had to pay like 125, 150 bucks or whatever, because I mean, you have guys who also like make food and like serve all these guys who go to it, all these Catholic guys. So obviously they should get paid and they shouldn't just be doing all that stuff for free or whatever. So I mean, it makes sense. And it was like for 3-4 days, like get there Thursday night and then say Friday night, Saturday night, and then like Sunday, and then like around evening time, everyone was like allowed to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How's the girls at the church?
Yeah, you talked to any of them?
No, obviously not.
It's very
because seriously, I've been to churches before, and there are some girls that are cute. So I mean, if you're somebody who goes to the church, why don't you just try to talk about Bible stuff with some of the girls? You
do.
You guys got something in common. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I don't read the Bible that much. I mean, I read it, some things about it, and sometimes, but yeah, I mean, plus, I mean, as far as the Ukrainian church that my parents go to, I liked this Ukrainian woman that I told my mom about, but her and my dad didn't even know her. And it was funny because they've been going to the Ukrainian church for a while, and my mom was all like, I think she's married. I think she is like whatever. And then I was like really bummed out. And then I was actually a few weekends ago on a Sunday, I was actually there for a wedding. And I did have a feeling, especially after my mom said that. And I mean, my mom like knew that I thought that she was like cute or whatever. And like I had a feeling she was taken even before my mom said anything, but I had never seen her with her fiance or whatever guy she was engaged to, who was also a Ukrainian guy, who actually came over to America. Both of them did from Ukraine like 6 months to a year ago, and then this year they got married, just like a few weekends ago. And I was just like, the whole time at the wedding, I was super pissed. It's not like I was like raging or anything, but I was just like everybody else cheering and happy and clapping and all that bullshit.
Oh,
And I
without a
even
doubt,
told
man.
some of the
I
guys
only
at
ever
the
went to
Cursillo
church to
about it, and they were
girls, to be
completely
honest with you, back
understandable
in the
about
day.
it, which surprised me. And so that was like nice that they were like sympathetic and understanding about my frustration and rage about it. And then I was just like, I standed up. I was not going to like sit down. I was thinking about leaving the church because it was after the church service too. And then, but like the whole time I was just like staring at the ground, clenching my fist the whole time. And then afterwards, they're like every time after like a Sunday service, they have like food under the church because there's like a basement part. And so afterwards, they went down to the basement, all the like Ukrainian people, whatever. And then there's like a dinner or whatever. And then they're like greeting everyone and whatever. And then I'm just like, and then everybody's eating. And I didn't eat any breakfast that morning because my parents have to like leave early to go to church to like get there early or whatever. Because my dad sings in the choir or whatever. And so like I don't have any time to use the bathroom before I go to church, but I just like brush my teeth. I don't eat anything. So I was just like really low energy and really depressed and angry. And I was just like, and my dad kept being like, "Oh, do you want to eat anything? Do you want to?" I was like, "No, thanks. I'll just eat when I get home." And then like when I got home, my dad was all like, "So did you enjoy the party after church?" And I was like, just like, "No."
Man, those after
And
parties are
then
crazy at churches now. I'll tell you that right now. It's crazy
Yeah.
fucking parties.
I grew up going to church.
yeah, I agree. There are crazy parties. And then I was like telling my mom about it and kind of bitching to her about it or whatever. And then my dad kind of made a joke and I laughed at it because like sometimes when my dad kind of like he pokes fun at me a little bit, but not to like totally like hurt me or like make fun of me. But he was just like in his room in our house when we got home and he was like, I didn't like the party and I'm pissed off because that guy married a beautiful Ukrainian woman and I didn't. And it would have been even more accurate if he would have said the guy married the Ukrainian woman that I wanted, but realistically I wouldn't have been able to get with her anyways because
You never know.
obviously
You never know. Like I said, you'll be very. Like I was talking to you earlier, man. I'm ugly as fuck. I'm overweight. I'm not a very attractive dude. My wife's an 8.
yeah. Oh,
She's a fucking
well,
8.
I don't mean
It's just confidence, man. That's all it is. It's not as
I don't
scary
mean
as you
in
think it
terms of
is. It really
looks or
ain't.
confidence. Like even if I had that stuff, I'm just saying I realistically wouldn't be able to because I mean the thing is, you know, I'm a jobless bum and
Yeah,
I'm
some
cool with
women
that.
like that shit. I don't know why, but some do. Some are into that. They really are.
Really?
Some
Like
do.
There's a shocking
homeless,
amount of them that are. Yeah.
like seriously, like guys who live in their parents' basement and are like totally fine with that. Like
Yeah.
Well, I do too, Marshall. Remember I said that in my first video. I do too.
Yeah, so do I.
I
I
don't,
rent
I
the
don't.
upstairs. I own this house, but I pay my parents a dividend for rent to help
Oh
them out
God.
every month, so my dad doesn't have to work as hard as he used to.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at least like I mean, I guess some girls would maybe be understanding about it or wouldn't mind, but I would feel bad, especially it's like, oh, here's this woman who came over from Ukraine that's like in a bad war right now, and it's like she probably has a job though and can like take care of herself or whatever, but it's like I wouldn't know what she would think of me, even if she was single and knew like, oh,
serious,
this
man.
guy is pretty much a jobless
You
bum,
got no idea.
pretty much
Hell
homeless
yeah.
if his
There's a
parents
lot of
didn't,
them that are.
you know, allow him to still live in their
It's
basement
crazy.
or whatever, like he does. I mean, but you know, whatever. I do want to really quickly get to your guys' questions though, because I did want to keep this stream kind of short, or at least like an hour or whatever, at least, because my phone's at 70% and I didn't know what time you guys were gonna like be ready or come on, and I was getting kind of irritated earlier.
Like I
Like
said, I'm just gonna let them talk. I'm only here to
yeah,
pretty much
yeah.
observe.
So
I might
I
interject
wanna,
here and there, but not really a lot. I'll field
yeah,
questions here and there, but
well,
go
just
ahead. Do what
you
you gotta
know,
do.
shoot whatever questions you have for me, and I'll try my best to answer them.
All right, Pebric, you can do the honors and go first.
Well, the thing is, I've said pretty much everything what I had to say to you, Marshall, through Instagram, the countless times that you banned me and blocked me in your comments. I mean, a lot of times, dude, you like say stuff that sometimes it doesn't really make sense. You say one thing and then you say another. Like, for example, you said that you couldn't go to work because the Suburban was breaking down, right? You were afraid
Yeah.
that once the car breaks down. Well, how come you have no problem giving your brother a ride? That's not an issue, but you were looking for a reason to not go look for work. I mean, not to stay at your job that you were staying at, because your excuse was the Suburban was breaking down. So I don't get why it's okay for you to say, hey, I can't go to work because I'm afraid the car's going to break down, but here you are giving your brother rides with no issue.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do that because I want to do something nice for him, and he's my brother. Like, not that I enjoy it all the time, but like I do it because he's my brother. I care about him, and my parents didn't want to drive him to work like late at night. And I
Yeah.
mean, he's not even working the third shift anymore. And actually, right now, like I think he got laid off from his job too because he switched to second shift because he thought that I was gonna like work at the same job with him, and then he was working second shift, but then there was like no work available for that shift anymore or whatever, so him and a bunch of second shift workers got laid off, and he didn't know like if they were going to ever want him back or whatever. I don't know if he's like currently looking for a new job, or but at the moment he's like with his friends like on vacation in Florida or whatever right now currently the moment. And you know it's not like our Suburban was breaking down. It's just that like a part of me was worried about it because it's like, and I told my manager, supervisor, whatever at my old job, like, I mean, in case like my car ever does break down, I probably won't have this job for like that long in case it does. Not that I was saying that it would or that it will. I was saying that in case. And the reason I quit, I mean, a huge reason is because last November of last year, I wanted to take the day off for voting day, even though, that's not really a holiday, even though that is a very important day. And so I wanted to take that day off. And so I did. And then like the next day I was going to like go back to work or whatever, but like I didn't or whatever. And then one thing led to another. And then the temp agency or whatever emailed me and was like, do you want to like go back, or do you want me to just tell them that you're quitting or whatever? And I was like, because the woman was like giving me the options and like asking me, so I was just like, oh, tell her I'll quit or whatever, or tell them I mean. And then she was just like, okay, it's fine, I'll do that. And like when it comes to me personally, when I have a job, I don't have a job for that long. And I'm amazed that I even did get a job, because I never thought I would have even got any jobs at all, even for the very short amount of time that I did, which is obviously pathetic and stupid. But
Now,
at the same time,
did you try the
like,
thing I suggested to you last time with the AI art stuff,
what,
man?
what's
Because
that?
you can make money doing basically anything on this planet. Anything. There's a
Wait, so
market for it.
what was your
I had suggested that you look into like Chat GPT and like Open AI and stuff of that nature, like AI generated stuff, because people do make sizable incomes off it. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen to you, but you don't know. It could.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably consider that, but I mean, I would have to at least do like research and like try to like know what to do and like how to do it before I would just like dive right in and but anyways, when I had like my Popeyes job that I got in like November-ish of 2021, at the age of 24 and almost 25. And then I had that for a couple months, and I was gonna actually stay at that job, but like, it was hard for me to get up early, and I did some embarrassing things. Like I started a fire there on accident, and
I thought it was because of the girl thing that you got mad at one of the girls there that you were kind of attracted to. I think you said something about a story.
That was the main reason, but there was other like smaller reasons too. Like I started a fire in one of the grills, which was really embarrassing and humiliating. Another thing, like the manager asked me, like,
it's a cost of doing business. They can't fire you or punish you for something that breaks itself.
Yeah, of course, but I was just like, because I'm like,
but anyway, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, but I also like the manager there also asked me one time, like, was well, not just me, but other workers as well, like going around and like, did you get the vaccine? And it's like a lot of jobs, even like fast food jobs, grocery store jobs, a lot of jobs, if you didn't get the vaccine, eventually they would let you go and fire you. So I was kind of like thinking of lying too. And I told this to my dad, like, but a part of me just wanted to tell the truth. So I was like, no, I didn't. And I was expecting my manager right then and there to be like, oh, okay, well, since you don't have the vaccine, you can't keep this job, or if you want to keep this job, you have to get it. Otherwise, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to let you go. So I kind of like left on my own, but it was obviously mainly because of the girl I liked, obviously, and whatever. That's a dumb reason to maybe some guys, but I mean, not to me. I mean, whatever reason I have for quitting a job, I feel that it's justified because that's just my own opinion, because that's just the way that I am, the way I think. If you can, understand that, or, whatever.
Yeah, but you don't think that you try to look for stuff? Because me, in my opinion, it's just like you're pretty much like looking for anything out there for a reason not to go to work. I know that you were talking about the suburban thing, but it's like, I don't know, it was just kind of like, it was just kind of like a sad excuse, because it's like, okay, the suburban still works. You can still drive it. You have enough time to save money to take out perhaps a decent, if not a brand new car. I've already told you the whole story of someone who I knew who used to make $350 a week. He was able to take out a $17,000 car with no credit history. And you said you were working 4 days, 5, 6 days? No, you were working for 4 days, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how come you didn't, work those 5, 6, or that overtime? I mean, listen, the thing about you is that you're in a great spot because you have no responsibilities. You got no mortgage to pay. You don't got none of that stuff to worry about, meaning that you could collect money that quick and you could start, investing stuff quickly.
I get that, and I hear what you're saying, and it's not like I disagree with you there. It's like I agree that you have a great point, but at the same time, I'm a guy who's lazy and selfish and self-centered, self-absorbed, and when I have a job, I don't want to be working no fucking bullshit, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, even occasionally a week, even though it's like, oh yeah, it's nice overtime and you get like your pay, your regular pay, plus you get like a bonus because you do like the overtime. But it's like, fuck that shit. I don't care. Like, and it sucks not getting like overtime and the bonus or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, I want to have more days off to do the things that I want to do because I have a life outside of work too. It's a pretty
cool. I still find time with all my days. I wake up at certain times. Like I work regularly 16-hour shifts. I'm only scheduled for 8, but most of the time the turnover rate of my job is so high as it's a security nightly job that I usually end up working 12, 16 hours. I sleep for about 4 or 5 hours. I still find time to wake up and do stuff because I have all the time in the world, man.
And you know what?
You're gonna have to do these entry level positions to get anywhere. Unless you want to work for yourself, that's the only way to kind of like astronomicalize your stuff. You have to develop that skill to do that.
And sometimes you got to sacrifice too. Sometimes, I mean, if you want to go get yourself something out there, sometimes you got to like sacrifice that free time to go get it. You know, I mean, for me personally, for me personally, I mean, I used to work at 3 jobs a day because I had to pay a lot of bills and I made a lot of dumb decisions. And if I want to go get something, I try to look at the positive side. Yeah, I work a lot of hours, but I try not to look at the negative. I look at the positive. Hey, I'm making money. It just seems to me, you, Marshall, you only look at the negative side of everything. I mean, you should try to look at the positive side of working those 5-6 days, you know?
Well, I'm sorry, but I can't. And I'm not saying that there isn't positives to working, you know, and 5 days a week isn't overtime. 6 and 7 is considered overtime. But
yeah, that's what I meant. You said that you used to work.
I know what you meant, but I'm just saying, like, I can't look at the positive about that stuff because the way I look at it is it's just like, it's just too much. It's asking and expecting too much. And, you know, I think it's kind of ridiculous that people like you and Blazing and a bunch of other trolls and people on the internet, you know, give me all this shit when there are so many people on the internet who have my same mindset, but nobody goes after these individuals. And of course they don't, because all these people are anonymous. You don't know if they're a guy or a girl saying it. And it's like, there's a lot of people saying it. And I'm sure it's both guys and girls or whatever. And, you know, I totally respect people who are honest. I mean, even if they're fucked up or whatever, I usually almost always respect honest people. Even if I don't agree with them, I respect them for at least being honest and, you know, speaking their mind, speaking how they feel on whatever in life, on whatever topics. And, you know, I'm not, you know, that quick to judge people unless it comes to like certain things like morals. And I know I don't have like that many morals, but at least when it comes to like things like sucking dick and taking dick up the ass, I'm absolutely against that, as you all know, of course.
But
and that's
Marshall, going off on a tangent, my friend. We got to stay on topic.
I got a question about this, right? Let me say one thing. You said that you're totally against eating sucking dick, taking it up the ass. Are you all for, you know, giving oral sex to a woman? Are you also against that?
Yeah, I am. At one point in my life when I was like a teenager, I was, you know, considering doing that. I mean, the only thing that I would maybe do, and it would have to be like a girl who I would have really good hygiene, otherwise I wouldn't even do this, is maybe, and this is only a maybe, if she had really great hygiene and like always cleaned herself down there before I would even consider doing it.
The entertaining the idea means you'd do it. I think it would. Yeah. I think if you tried these things or had the opportunity to do these things,
and I'm talking about eating ass. And
I won't even she would have, but you know, that's
she'd have to be a girl who's a virgin too, who's never, you know, slept with any guys, even just one guy, and, you know, taking dick up the ass or suck dick or whatever. Because I mean, she'd have to be a virgin just like me, which if you're a guy like me, you would only understand that being a virgin and all. Obviously, I'd want to be with a woman who's a virgin too. That only makes sense. But that's just me. And I'm not saying like other people have to be that way. That's just my opinion. That's just who I am. But
so you would definitely eat a woman out, depending if she has it clean or not, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, yeah, because I remember this one time you put a post that or you left in a comment, because in the past you said something about you were totally against oral, and then all of a sudden I saw in the comments about you wanted to eat vagina. So I just wanted to clear that up. I mean, are you in for eating vagina or you're totally against it?
Personally, and I don't mean anything. I don't remember ever saying anything about eating vagina. And if I did, that was probably a while ago. Because honestly, I do, you know, I've talked to so many people on YouTube. It's not like I keep track or count of all the like conversations I've had with, kind of like I said to Jonathan, like wherever it is on the internet, I don't keep like track or count of all the conversations I have with whoever on the internet or about whatever it is. So it's like, if I did say something, I probably wouldn't even remember it. And I mean, a lot of stuff I say is from like years ago anyways. So it's like,
well, the thing is about me too, Marshall, is that sometimes like, okay, you do you, right? I mean, you sometimes won't remember stuff in the past, but Like sometimes you get, I mean, you kind of like, how should I say it? It kind of, you kind of make yourself look like a bullshitter because, you know, like sometimes, like you said, you forget stuff in the past. And then when you say something different, it kind of makes you look like a bullshitter. But
yeah,
again,
I know.
Maybe, just maybe, like you said, you tend to forget stuff and you change things around. That's why, you know, sometimes I get confused with what you say. You say something back then and then you say something different.
I get that. And honestly, I can understand why some people like you or others like you would be like Mortal Kombat 2, for example, is like, man, this guy's such a bullshitter. He says one thing and then says another thing. But like, what's funny about me is that like when I do a video, sometimes like I'll like change my mind because like with age, you know, you become different, you know, regardless of who you are. You know, even my dad makes this point that when you get older, you get more wise and smarter. Everyone does, even a stupid person, even a bad person, good person, no matter who you are. And I agree with that. And, you know, like the older I get, my opinions change, my, you know, belief systems, you know, what I believe is right or wrong, good or evil, or I don't know, like it changes. I change, my opinions change, all that stuff. Like, and so I think it's kind of funny when it's like, oh yeah, Mortal Kombat, like, you know, edits like an old video with a more recent video of mine. And it's like, well, of course I'm going to change my mind because one video is from like a year, 2, 3 ago. And then like another video of mine is more recent from like, I don't know, like 2020, 2021, 2022 or something. And it's like, of course I'm going to like change my mind from like, you know, from when I was like, I don't know. And I think that only makes sense. And I think people should keep that in mind. Like, obviously, like, I'm sure a lot of people change their mind and are going to like switch up things or whatever, opinions they have, beliefs they have, or whatever. I would understand that. Like, I personally, in my opinion, I wouldn't be like, oh, look at this guy or this girl said this, but then in this video they said this, because they could probably just be like, you know, that was when I was younger. I don't think like that anymore. Or if they're like, I don't know. That's just the way I see it, though. I'm sorry about it. It's getting dark. Like it is 8:39 where I live, so I know you guys can barely see me anymore.
Don't you have lights inside? Those lights that you push above your Suburban? Doesn't it turn on?
We do, but then that would probably drain the battery. So I just
it would if you left it on all night. They don't actually drain that quick. Lights.
Oh, okay then. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I just don't leave it on. Just don't forget to turn it off. You should be fine.
Yeah, I won't. I won't. I mean, kind of see me now, but even these lights aren't very. They're pretty dim because it is an old car. It's an 03. And, I mean.
But another question too, Marshall. You said that you know, you have your fetishes, right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you get turned on by looking at all the stuff you mentioned in the past, but how do you know that you'll enjoy it if one day you do find that woman, that traditional girl, whatever you mean by that, and what if you finally do it and you discover that you're not really into it? I mean, it's just like the story where I talked about in my streaming that somebody that I knew was always fantasizing. This was probably like back when I was around 18, 17. He always wanted to eat a woman's ass out. He found it as a turn on. He kept thinking about that every time. Finally, when he did it, he wasn't all into it. He wasn't all what it was meant to be. So how do you know that you're going to be into that? Like, how would you know that?
Because here, the thing is, like, in my opinion, that's actually a great question. I'm glad you actually asked that. And, you know, I just want to say, like, you know, I don't think I would change about that. And, you know, I've had these fetishes of mine since I was a child. And I've fantasized about stuff like this for so many years of my life. I don't think I would be that quick, like, if I ever actually.
See, Marshall got disconnected.
Oh, did he?
I think.
Did you get disconnected now, Marshall?
He should be coming back, I would think.
Yeah.
First time it kicked me out because it said this app was overheating my phone.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
I don't know how the resource works with the kick stuff. I don't. Oh, I think he's back.
Wait, what just happened? That was weird. We all.
Yeah, we thought you
went
left
out.
for a second.
Yeah, no. What was that? That just happened. That was.
It's just a hiccup, man. It's just connections to the server. That's it.
Oh, okay. I thought
It's just
something.
gonna be with your. Since you draw a cell phone, it's gonna be less connection. Than
Okay, so anyways, I was just saying like.
Plus, you were in your house when I talked to you last, so or your sister's house.
Anyways, so like, you know, fetishes I have are very, you know, a big part of my life. They're a big part of who I am. Big part of what defines me as a man, as a person, and you know, like obviously, like I know my fetishes are weird. I've had conversations with so many people on the internet over the years about how weird my fetishes are, whatever. But at the end of the day, like everyone has their own shit they're turned on by. Everyone. I don't care who you are. I mean, there are people who are turned on by vomiting. I'm not personally, but I'm not going to judge somebody who is turned on by vomit and maybe wants to either see a girl vomit or eat the vomit. Not that I would. But I'm not going to be like, oh, you know, fuck that guy. That's messed up. The only kind of fetishes I am against and condemn is oral and anal. But like, I don't condemn guys who are turned on by vomit or maybe like getting hurt by a woman, dominated by a woman, in other words, or like, because some guys are turned on by women causing them pain. It's like, whatever, I don't care.
What about queefing, Marshall? I mean, is that perfectly fine with you if a woman lets that out, like queefing?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine with me. I personally not that big into it. I mean, I'm personally just like farting, burping, shitting, and pissing, and that's about it. And those are just my 4 main fetishes. And I would
But you'd be down for it, right? Would you be down for that if a woman just tells you, Marshall, I want to lay a nice queef on you if I want to pass?
Absolutely, I definitely would. I mean, I would be totally like welcoming of that. And I mean,
Marshall, you have a hiccup fetish too, right?
Yeah, I do definitely. I mean, not as I would say as big or high up there as like the other 4, but I do have a fetish to that too. Because I mean, you know, I remember one time when I was in elementary school, for example, and I was in like special classes with like a special ed type teacher, and there was
RSP.
What?
Is it kind of like RSP?
I don't know.
That's what they used to call it in our school.
Oh, well, I don't think it was called that, but I honestly can't remember because it was so long ago. But I remember when I was a kid, and there was this really cute girl, and she was hiccuping one day in the special class, and then I was like turning around looking at her, and she was just like smiling and like laughing about it. And because she was attractive, it made me even more like intimidated and turned on internally. Not that I was like showing you that I was turned on, but I was just looking at her just with like some normal reaction, and like, I mean, I thought it was like hot.
Marshall, I got rejected by a girl with special needs.
Well, she wasn't. I don't mean like she wasn't like retarded or whatever, but there was like a special class for just like students who maybe were just like a little bit on the autism spectrum, or like maybe had some struggles in their classes with something. Like it wasn't for like mentally retarded students. I mean, I do think it was for them too, but it like a lot of the students.
It incapacitates anybody with learning disabilities for the most part. You can either have Down syndrome, autism, not have it all.
Yeah.
That's all it shows. In theory,
Marshall, I don't understand though why you felt the need to share all this on YouTube. Like you should have kept your fetishes to yourself.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, Blazing. I mean, with all due respect, the reason why I was open about my fetishes is because, in my defense, look at all the other fucked up shit that's on the internet and well known. I mean, 2 girls, 1 cup, for example. That's a really popular classic shit porn video. I've never even seen it, and because I have a shit fetish, other people have told me like, "Hey, Marshall." Or, hey, Isaac, have you ever seen 2 girls, 1 cup? You'd like it or whatever. And like, I think I saw like photos of it or whatever. Like, I never actually watched the video because I just wasn't that interested. But I
think it'd kill your shit fetish. I really do. 100%. It's disgusting. It's one of the
I'm sure it is. And you know, but here's the thing that's funny though, and I would probably say even more shocking. Like I've seen, and this is a Brazilian porn company and website called MFX. I don't know what it stands for, but it's all like Brazilian porn star women, and they do all these fart porn videos and shit porn videos. But all their shit porn videos cost money. You actually have to have a subscription to their website, and I think that's fucked up because all the videos that I wanted to see for like so many years of really, really hot Brazilian like model women shitting, it's like, oh wait, every single one of them costs fucking money, and I have to have like some subscription to the website, and yet all their like fart porn videos are all free. Pornhub, Spank Bank, whatever. You know, another thing I want to say, or a reason why I was so open about my fetishes, considering how fucked up they are, is because I honestly thought, you can, you know, make fun of me or whatever, all you want about this, as I know you probably will, or keep, you know, harassing me about this, but I just want to say this to kind of put, hopefully, an end to this, is that I thought, honest to God, that by me being open about them, that I would maybe, not that I would, that I would maybe have gotten, you know, girls who would be like, you know, like think that if I was like handsome or attractive or whatever, and then like want to follow me on Instagram, and then if they found out about my fetishes or whatever from the video, and then may have been still like, you know, maybe want to send videos of themselves doing that stuff to me, and you know that would have been a dream come true. And of course, that didn't really happen.
Marshall, that's not
Hey,
realistic.
let me,
No woman would ever do that.
Another
Yeah.
thing too, I got a question, Marshall. When you
Yeah.
got into this whole internet, like you making videos, were you fully aware that the internet wasn't going to be some safe space? Like, were you fully aware of that? Because if you were going to be someone this, what's the right word, soft?
Vocal.
I mean, if you were going to be like so bent out of shape, or me trolling you, or Mortal Kombat, or Blazing, I mean, if you knew that you were going to be this soft, why did you started a YouTube channel? Were you fully aware?
No, to tell you the honest truth, I wasn't, and I thought I made that pretty clear in a lot of my YouTube videos. Obviously, I didn't expect that the internet wasn't going to be a safe space. I honestly thought it was going to be. Like, I thought people would have respected me enough because, you know, even Bay Shaman at first didn't respect me, but then eventually he started to, and even we became good friends, even though we're totally different. We're completely different.
That's how I found out about you.
And oh, that's interesting. But anyways, like, you know, and it's funny too. I would have never thought I would have made friends with him because, like, I remember when he first started doing videos on me. This friend of mine, and I didn't even have like an Instagram at the time, was like coming to one of my YouTube videos and was like, "Oh, this guy named Bay Shaman is doing videos about you or whatever." And then I was like, "Thanks for telling me." And then I went over to his video, and then I just start attacking him and his subscribers. And then he was all like shocked, and so was his subscribers. And then they were saying stuff like, "Oh, dude, we love you. You know, we don't have any like ill will towards you or whatever. Like, why are you going off on us?" But then I went away after like trying to cool down or whatever, after being like extremely heated. And then I actually felt bad once I cooled down. So I was going to go back to like apologize. And then when I went back to the live stream that was still going on, I was surprised to see that Bay Shaman or Alan was actually like, he felt bad. And I was like, wow, that's actually pretty rare for somebody on the internet to actually feel bad that he made me feel like shit. And his subscribers didn't like agree with him on that. And a lot of his subscribers thought he was a wuss and a wimp for kind of making fun of me or like, or, you know, talking down on me or whatever. But he actually felt bad. And that's how I could tell that even though we were different, that he was a genuinely good guy. I want to apologize, by the way. The lights went out. Like, even though I didn't even have them on that long, they literally went out. So I'm still here, but
yeah,
I'm sorry.
You're good.
Anyway,
I think Blazing's trying to
yeah, I'm sorry. But anyways,
hey, Marshall, Dominique has a question.
Marshall Mathers the fourth. I have a question, cousin. Have you ever considered of going seeing a prostitute?
No. I thought I made
Marshall,
that
I have a question for you myself in regards to
fair.
that.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What if we bought you a prostitute? Would that not be the same thing? Because you don't want to pay for sex, but I don't mind paying for it.
Hey, AP, we tried to do that. Marshall, you do remember that boxing match we were supposed to do, right?
Oh, I talked about that too, so I actually had a question.
Yeah, actually, before we started the live stream, I was talking about that, and I was telling Jonathan that, you know, the thing is, like, I turned it down, the boxing thing, not because I didn't want to fight you. I mean, I was all for it.
I'll
but,
give you a computer, man. It's not going to be a current computer, but win or lose, I will give you one of my backup PCs. I got a couple of them. I'll even let you choose.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Really, I do.
Win or
and
lose. It's a pretty good deal.
Even wanted to. Yeah, I mean, that was the point. I told Marshall, if we do this whole thing, we raise the money, whatever money we have left.
I saw that.
If you lose this match, we're going to go get you and lose your virginity. Not because I want to make fun of you. It's because I want to give you a reward that you started something and then you finished it as accomplishment. Not to make fun of you, but...
It's Marshall Mathers the 7th, but he wants to know why it's so important to have a girlfriend instead of, like, bettering yourself first. You know, I think that's a better point of doing stuff, you know? I think it's a much better thing to do.
Well, I want to say that, you know, so there are a couple reasons I turned down our match. The main reason was because, and I told Jonathan this, had you not made this video, I would have probably still been on for the boxing match. But when you, Pebric, made the video about, oh, you don't want to poke this bear, whatever, I assumed that you were maybe just some lazy weirdo kind of bum like me, and who, like, didn't work out and who just didn't really do anything. Maybe had a job or whatever, maybe, like, you know, had more of a life than me or whatever, but I didn't think, like, oh, this guy is probably ripped and he probably, like, works out and has experience.
I'm fat as fuck, as you can all see.
No, I mean Pebric. Pebric.
I appreciate it, Marshall, but let me tell you something, man. I used to weigh 420.
Yeah,
I used to weigh 420. And I have more sag than muscle because of the abuse I did to myself. You know, I appreciate the compliment, but I'm not that ripped, you know?
Well, you're more ripped than a lot of guys I've seen. And you know, also, like, and not that that's a bad thing, obviously, but, like, also, like, I was telling Jonathan earlier, like, you have all this, like, great, wonderful workout equipment right at home in your garage, and it's like,
and I said you got the woods, which is no limitations. You live by the woods. You can lift boulders. You can do, like,
that's what I told him.
Primitive workout. You know, primitive workout is arguably much better. You know, it's
yeah, but at the same time, I don't have any, like, anything like
people getting in the way. There's nothing. You have the world, man. The world's much better than a gym.
Yeah, but honestly, like,
guarantee it.
I wouldn't really have anything to work out with in the woods, though. Like, with all due respect,
you could do push-ups, lift up logs, you know, cut wood with an axe. You could be running. I mean, I told you, Marshall, I don't want to fight you or box you in a ring where you're not even conditioned to it, because I told about this story where this guy who I put the gloves on, he didn't work out for a couple years, and this guy looked like he was about to have a heart attack. And he used to be a former street fighter. Why? Because he never conditioned himself. Finally, when he boxed me, he just gassed out. And that's what I tried to tell you, Marshall. You first need to get yourself ready. That's why I told you, Marshall, you need to train for at least 6, 7, 8 months before we do this boxing match, because I don't want to put you or your heart through all that stress.
And you can apply that what you just said about that to every aspect of your life. I mean, you condition yourself to do more things. Like even when it comes to, like, a career, comes to internet shit, it comes to relationship, it's all conditioning to get to another plane.
At the same time,
like, Chad is pretty much saying that your views on women are very askew, and they need to kind of adjust like that. But if you were to do, like, the conditioning, like Pebric's saying, for anything in your life, you can apply that logic to anything. It doesn't have to just be boxing. It could be anything.
Yeah, well, at the same time, like, I would never want to take the time to, like, work out for 6, 7, 8 months or whatever, and you know.
You don't have to do it every day. You just gotta. I mean, you just gotta kind of get, like, a flow going. I do it every other day, man. I do a day where I'm lazy, and I do a day where I have to do shit. So I do one day where I work out and I make content. I do one day where I sit on my ass and I play Forza currently. That's it.
And plus, another thing, Marshall. I mean, I wasn't going to try to knock you out. I mean, if I saw that you weren't doing that well in the ring, I probably would have just gone easier, and I would have just told you, you want to be done with this? You want to stop or what? I mean, I know some people were calling me out and telling me, oh, how can you go and fight this guy who's never fought? Are you this much of a pussy? I'm like, no, if this guy wasn't doing well, I probably would have told him, hey, you want to keep going or you want to stop? You know?
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was reward you, you know?
I think that's cool, but like at the same time, it's like, you know, if that were the case, well, and this leads me to my last reason why I turned down the fight is because if I lost, which let's just all face it, I most likely would, especially if you were not taking it easy on me and just treating me like fair competition or whatever. And if I lost, I would have to go to a hooker and lose my virginity. And I wouldn't do that because the thing I wish you would respect about me is like, I was raised Catholic. I was raised in a very sheltered, religious, strict home growing up. Not that, and I don't mean strict as in like, oh, we didn't have like any fun or do anything or whatever. But, you don't know how like religious my parents are. And like, I'm very much against worldly secular things. I love worldly movies. I love worldly music. I love, what was I gonna say? Worldly books or whatever, in some worldly things. I'm not saying I'm completely like anti this world or whatever, but at the same time, there are limits on what I, like, dislike, love, hate, or whatever. And, I'm the kind of guy, because of the parents that I was born to and raised by, which I think is only understandable. I grew up with traditional values and beliefs and morals.
But what about the fetishes, though? Are your parents fully aware of all your fetishes that you're into, or no?
No, obviously not, and obviously they shouldn't be, because that's my own.
You can keep that to yourself as well. If it's just like it doesn't involve them, you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not like I would ever tell my.
I'm not just talking about the fetish. I'm talking about back to the point of like the worldly things as well.
Oh,
you
well,
don't have
I mean,
to have an entire life just because you're raised in like a strict religious thing. I sort of was myself, but I'm no longer religious anymore. It's not important.
Yeah, I hear you, and to be honest, I will say this too, like, my parents are well aware of, like, at least when it comes to like what music I love, what movies I love, what TV shows I love, what books I love or whatever, or like interests I have or whatever. They're well aware of that, but obviously they're not about my fetishes, and they shouldn't be, because I wouldn't want to cause my parents any more embarrassment or humiliation than I've already caused them, because I've already caused them
try to
enough,
join the thing
more than enough.
in a second. I don't know if
and you can't keep that private if you decide to go and see a prostitute. You can't keep that quiet like you do with your fetishes with your parents, or no?
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't do that because I have morals. I have traditional values and beliefs and Catholic beliefs or whatever. And because I am somewhat of a Christian, I would not have sex unless it was with a woman I was married to in holy matrimony, in front of a Catholic priest, and for the right reason. And then right afterwards, right after I'd get married, I would either go back to my home or her home. And of course, then and only then I would get laid and like do all the other stuff or whatever, hopefully. And, but here's the other thing too. I've already, committed a lot of mortal sins too, according to God. And,
let me know
I don't want to, keep on just breaking any more mortal sins. Like, there has to be at least like a limit or a point where I just am like, no, I'm not going to do that. Even though I've broken all these other mortal sins, I'm at least not going to do this or this or this. And, that's like my mindset or what I'm like, what I believe. And, also like, here's another thing about me. Like, personally, I would have probably never believed in God again or Jesus ever again in my life, or ever would have, found the faith again or became religious again if it wasn't for my dad who bought this book a while ago now that was about these Eucharistic miracles where the host in the Catholic Church, the host meaning the bread that you take, that you eat, or like the wine, would actually, and these were studied actually by atheistic, evolutionistic scientists too. These scientists were not believers at all whatsoever. And I don't know if they maybe changed their mind or maybe just stayed the same, but there were these scientists and they were like, yo, like, and this was like a long time ago too, like 70s, 80s, 90s or whatever, early 2000s. And they were like, bro, like, give us the Eucharist. Like, we want to study them under a microscope and shit. And they did it. All these really like world-renowned scientists, like multiple ones, not just like one or two, but like several or whatever in this book. I forgot what the book is called.
He does do that. He goes off on tangents.
Black and white photo of some of them. And they were just like dumbfounded. They were shocked. Like they could not explain it. And that's why, like, when you're a Christian, like, of course, like science cannot explain like God or Jesus or Christianity or whatever. Like there are things science can't explain. And my dad even makes the point, like people believe in Jesus and in God and heaven and hell and Satan and demons and angels and saints and stuff because it's faith. It's faith that allows people to believe in that. If they didn't have faith, of course they wouldn't believe. And they would still be searching for something else to believe.
I'll try to add you.
That makes any sense.
I think it's only 4 until you.
My dad makes another point too about this too. Like everyone believes in something. Everyone, no matter who you are in this world, everyone believes in something.
I'll attempt to do that.
And he's like, I don't care who you are. And he's not saying like, oh, everyone's a Christian or everyone's religious or whatever. He's saying like, no matter who you are, everyone believes in something. Nobody in this world is just like, I don't believe in anything.
Circle going around all that.
Like if you're an evolutionist, you believe in evolution. You believe in the Big Bang. If you're a Hindu, you believe in Hindu gods. If you're Muslim, you believe in Allah. If you're if you're Christian, you believe in God and Jesus and Mary and saints and angels and demons and Satan and hell and all this stuff. And I mean, the list goes on.
The list does go on, but what they're more or less trying to get through to you pretty much is it's fine to be religious and have morals and all this stuff, but religion is meant to be interpreted. It's not meant to be a literal kind of just like mechanism, you know. You take it to enrich your life, but you don't necessarily have to do everything verbatim that the book says. One of the big things, even with I don't know how the Catholic faith works, but with Christianity, is that even if you like go out and you say you want to like butcher like a whole country or whatever, you can repent for it. That probably makes you a shitty person. Don't do that, obviously, but the fact of the matter is you don't have to take the religion seriously. You gotta kind of like carve your own path out. And we just kind of feel like you're limiting yourself, man. If you were to partake in some of the worldly stuff out there, I think it would enrich your life and just it would help you out a whole lot more.
I mean, and I'm not trying to judge you guys.
You need like a hangover kind of experience or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to judge you guys here, but at the same time, I feel kind of judged. Like, no offense to you guys, but like, I mean, and I know I judge you guys a lot, and personally, if I'm going to be honest here, I don't like judging people because it's like, I don't want people to judge me. But at the same time, it's like you guys, like your opinion is like, you feel like I'm limiting myself. But, to me, I'm just trying to, have dignity and have, be modest and have traditions, especially in our day and age, in modern times. Traditions, morals, values, modesty, humbleness and stuff like that. It's all becoming a thing of the past. It's all going down the drain. It's all becoming like extinct. So it's like
you just have to hold it like to your own personal kind of stuff. I mean, it may seem that way, sure, but a lot of people just want to have like this perfect like little like paradise world they want, like how they want it. They want that to be how everybody believes in it. It just doesn't work.
Yeah,
you're not gonna change how everybody's like wavelength of their brain thinks. Some people are gonna look at the more moral side of things. Some people are gonna look at like your OnlyFans phenomena kind of shit going on. You know,
yeah,
it really
for
just
sure.
depends. You know,
For sure.
but you should carve your own beliefs out of the beliefs that have been prescribed to you. You know.
Yeah, and I want to say this too really quick that there are different branches in like sects of Christianity, and some of them are weird. But my dad also has been searching, for a long time in his life, even in his old age, for like the one true branch or sect of Christianity, and he eventually landed in Catholicism. And in Catholicism, that branch or sect of Christianity has had the most, miracles of any kind. And, a lot of these miracles were like confirmed by like the Pope or, other people. I don't know, but also one thing that sucks about Catholicism is that there's a lot of infiltration in the Catholic Church, because I don't know if you guys are aware of Vatican II. That's another book my dad bought. Never read it, but Vatican II is simply about where in like the 1960s there was an infiltration in the Catholic Church, but even like in the 1800s and 1700s and shit like that, there was Freemasons, Satanists, atheists, evolutionists, and all this crap that infiltrated the church and became, anti-popes, bishops, priests, deacons, all that stuff. And, that's what infiltration means. Like when bad people infiltrate something good. And, and a lot of the reasons why some Christians, like Protestants, for example, will hate Catholics or hate Catholicism is because they think like Catholics are like bad and like crack jokes with wicked people or whatever, but they don't realize.
I think we're gonna let Blazing ask questions.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Going off on a tangent. No, you're good. I understand. It's kind of like more like a quirk of yours and stuff like that. We're trying to air out all the grievances and stuff like that. Like I'm not trying to interrupt you, but there's too much lore.
No,
on,
it's
you know
cool.
what I mean? Too much lore.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm gonna let Blazing ask stuff though. Also, somebody wants to ask you a question towards the end too. So.
Okay.
Marshall,
We're having a hard time hearing you, Blazing.
Yeah, Blazing, we are having a hard time hearing you because it's like the wind and
the audio is like looping back again.
Yeah, it's like condensing your voice or whatever.
I tried to clear it up. I can barely hear you.
All right, let me try turn the
That's
AC
good. That's
on.
good. Whatever you were just doing a second ago is good.
Yeah, the AC on.
I had it on because it was overheating on my phone. This app.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So I'll turn it.
Oh, the
I'll turn it back on if I need it.
I mean, you can turn off Kick if you don't want to have it up. That's fine. I don't know how much
It's
resources.
it's the Kick.
Yeah, you can X out Kick, man. You don't need to hear him. You can hear him through that just fine.
All right. Anyway, Marshall, I wanted to ask, like, what can be done to make you stay at a job? I mean, I know that you've aired your grievances about working, and I made that thing about you being a socialist because I saw you in your comments say I want to be paid for doing absolutely nothing at all, and that's like socialism.
I'm sorry about
so,
that.
And I don't want you to
try to keep everything
be on welfare. So I was wondering what can be done to make you stay at a job.
Sometimes you need to.
Nothing, honestly. As sad as it is to say, it's funny that you say I'm a socialist, which personally, I don't really care that much that you want to call me a socialist or a communist. Honestly, like the more older I get and the more, with experiences with Catholicism, that helps me out. I just honestly don't care that much anymore. And I will say this, like, everyone's going to have their own opinions about me at the end of the day. And I'm going to have my own opinions about myself, but also, like, I'm going to know myself better than any of you guys know me. Like, even though, like, I'm a very open book on the internet, I mean, it's not like you guys see me 24/7 or, like, live with me or, like, go places with me or do things with me, even with the very little things I do in my life. But, like, I mean, how I am off the internet is completely different than who I am on the internet. On the internet, the internet is pretty much my way to kind of have like a diary or a journal, if you will. And that's kind of like what Bay Shaman said a long time ago. Like he thought that was really cool. And that's the way I thought of it too. Like just a way for me.
Is that gonna hold you at the job? We're supposed to try to be like staying with the rest of them, kind of just like jumping around them, you know. I'm not trying to pressure you to do stuff you don't want to do, but we're just trying to get to the bottom of every question, and it just kind of seems like we're going off.
I'm sorry. I know I can go off and.
I have a quick question, if you don't mind, Blazing.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's true that you're thinking of perhaps getting on welfare, Marshall? Yes or no?
I honestly, to tell you all the truth, I have been considering it for a while. And you know, it's what's funny about it too is even for years, believe it or not, my dad has said that I should probably get on it too, and he thinks that it would probably be a good idea for me.
But can you even get on welfare living with your parents? I don't think you can. I think you would have to be on your own. I mean, I don't know. I've never been on welfare. I've always grown up pretty privileged.
Well, I haven't either, so I wouldn't know, and I've never tried either. That's the thing, because I don't even know like where to go or what to do or how to do it. Like, because obviously it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's what's the word?
I don't much care for our government in any way, shape, or form, but I don't think I would ever want to accept any money from them.
My parents don't either.
If you dislike the government that much, that you probably shouldn't take anything from them because it's not good.
Yeah, obviously, but at the same time, you could look at it as like it's like I'm sure a lot of people.
I think it's just a base amount of money that they give somebody to pretty much just like barely live off of. It's not a life, man.
Yeah.
It's just
of course.
I'm not hating on people that's their only option. I understand that some people are not fortunate like some people.
You know,
but still, I wouldn't personally do it unless it was.
Yeah, and I respect that. I respect that. That's cool. Like everyone is, you know, has their own opinions or beliefs or whatever about this or whatever at the end of the day, and that's totally cool. And you know, at the end of the day, though, there is a lot of people on welfare, probably more than people would like to admit or realize. And, you know, it is sad, but it's, you know, it's been, you know, the case for many years, many generations, decades now. And, you know,
too defeatist to me, man. Like, there's the one thing that I hated about myself back in the day is just the defeatist attitude. It's always been, I've never, ever liked the outlook on life that I have nothing better to do. Like, you can always improve your situation. That's how I've always viewed things. Anybody can improve their situation. They just have to want to do it.
Of course, that's the thing, though. They have to want to do it. But
I believe you want to do it. I just don't think you know how to want to do it.
Well, it's nice you think that, but I don't think
that I know that. I think you have more potential than you give yourself credit for. And
well,
I don't think you'd be emotionally reacting to it right now if that wasn't at least somewhat true.
Yeah, but Marshall, another thing too. I mean, in my opinion, I think you shouldn't get on welfare because don't you feel like maybe you'll feel deep inside a bit of a hypocrite because you spend it for what? How long talking about blue pills and normies? I mean, you spend it all this time talking about they're just terrible people and they make the world look bad. But then all of a sudden you get into welfare, and if you do one day return back to YouTube, and you say that you get on welfare, people are probably just going to call you out on that, saying that you're a bit of a hypocrite. Actually, no, you're a hypocrite.
It's just going to be more. There'll be like clone Pebrics and clone Blazing Bads.
I don't think that will actually be the case.
Mathers to 69.5 or some kind of shit, you know.
I don't believe that.
Some people, people are going to call you out on that, saying, "Hey, man, you talked a lot of smack about blue pills, normies, people working and all that, and then all of a sudden you're on welfare and you're leeching off them." It's kind of like, come on, man, you know.
Like that.
I don't think blue-pilled people would be the kind of people to go on welfare. That's a very black.
I believe a lot of people that are blue-pilled.
No, but the blue-pill people are going to be where the money's coming from.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing too. A lot of people, believe it or not, and this is why I say what I'm saying, have told me, including Marshall Mathers VII, to get on welfare.
He's about to ask you a question towards the end of it.
You know, he actually made a video when I made my last video, I'm quitting YouTube video. He actually made a response video. And for one time, which really shocked me too, you know, I honestly was surprised he even did this, what he did. And I thought it was nice of him. Like, and I appreciated it so much to the point I left him like 2 comments. And, you know, like, he was giving me, you know, what he said was like black-pilled advice, which is the kind of advice that I would be more accepting of and willing to hear, and you know, thankful for and grateful for, and probably actually like want to do something about. And in his video, he was saying
really
like,
that,
you know, maybe try getting on welfare, or like food stamps or whatever, or like look into that. And it's funny because like,
sorry, I couldn't do it on YouTube.
My dad, who's a way better guy than me, even he, you know, knows I have like some problems and issues to the point where even for years in his life, in his own opinion, my father, it's like, even he's like, my mom disagrees with him, and she has for years, and they've butted heads and like clashed over like lots of different things in their marriage, but including that. But like, in his opinion, like, not that, you know, he thinks it's necessarily a good idea, but he thinks I should do it as kind of like a last resort type of thing. And also, I think he may even be on a little form of it himself, because he's not working that much anymore. And, you know, he's practically retired himself, and he hates being on it, but, you know, he has to settle. And honestly, even a lot of people who have jobs are miserable. And I think it's ridiculous that a lot of people like on YouTube and the internet, like you guys, claim like, oh, having a job is so wonderful and great and magnificent.
No, I never said it was great. Having a job
no,
is terrible.
But like Pebric and Blazing and other guys like them try to act like having.
Pebric is different, so is Blazing420.
I know, but I've seen, you know, I've interacted and even seen other people online interact with a lot of people who claim to be socialists or communists on like Instagram or TikTok or whatever nowadays, amongst the incel community of guys.
Can't take those people seriously, all honesty.
And it's like, and the thing is, like, a bunch of people on the internet are always like, stop complaining, just get a job. Getting a job is wonderful and great. And yet I see all these other guys elsewhere on the internet saying like, bro, this economy is fucking bullshit right now, and you have to get like 3 fucking jobs to even support yourself. It's dumb out there. It's so retarded, and it's only getting worse. And it's like I predicted the future, because it's like,
I think it's only 4 as well.
I knew it would always get worse. And so a lot of my videos are kind of ahead of their time. And like a lot of people, even maybe who disagreed with me at one point, will come back a certain amount of months or years later and pretty much fess up and be like, you were right, I was wrong. Like,
the thing is, Marshall, the thing is too, Marshall, is that you spend it like you always. The thing is, I've told you all this time, Marshall, why don't you just go and maintain a job? Because all I've seen you this whole time is complain and whine about everything is so expensive. I can't afford it.
Yeah,
well, yeah, you got no income. You got no source of income.
Even with income, things are still too fucking expensive.
But you only worked for 4 days. You said that you had the opportunity to work overtime. Do you not realize how many people would love to be in your situation where they could work overtime if they want to?
Also alternatives to that too. And
yeah.
I know you're trying to be like.
I don't know if there was a lot of people who would. I don't know if there was a lot of people who would love to be in my shoes, because from what I see, more and more people are waking up to the bullshit in this country.
No, I'm aware of the bullshit. I just understand that to escape the bullshit and to try to change the bullshit, you have to work to make it happen. Because one of the things
you are in a good. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead. You're good.
No, but you are in a good position if you think about it, because there's a lot of people out there who's got mortgages to pay. They got car bills to pay. They got to pay so much shit, support a family. You don't have to put food on the table. All the money goes to you, and you still chose to work 4 days instead of the overtime. And then on top of that, you were complaining that everything's too damn expensive, and you weren't too smart with the money.
And here's the thing: even with the job, and even my dad agrees that cars, in his own words, and I quote, cars are stupid expensive nowadays. It doesn't matter where you try to find a car. If you get a car that's maybe like $1,000 or $1,200, you can maybe get a car like that. But those cars are junk. They're pieces of shit.
Necessarily. My neighbor has a car.
Usually they are, though. They have high fucking mileage. A lot of people who will like sell the cars for like $1,000 or $1,200 or $1,400 or whatever. Their cars suck fucking balls, and they have high fucking mileage. They have problems. They're rust. I mean, I could go on, but I don't want to go on too long. And it's like, I mean,
I don't remember what it was.
You
but I've
know,
had
the
it for
way I
several
look
years.
at myself
Probably
and
approached about 12, 13
what
years.
I'm saying right now is just that not only am I being honest, but
I mean,
real.
you can buy it and
Like,
stuff. I mean, there's alternatives,
you know,
like I said. You can get a
and a
car
lot of
brand
people
new from
online
China,
would say the exact same
which I'm gonna
thing
bring
and
that up
tell
right
you
now,
guys
but-
probably the same exact thing, that this guy is just being real. He's just saying it how it is. He's just being honest.
I just had a thought on the car thing. China sells a pretty. It's China or Japan. They sell an economy car. I think brand new.
Yeah,
it's only like $1,000. Like
Yeah, I know. I
brand
think
new.
my dad and I saw a video about
I mean,
that,
it's
and
not.
I
It's not pretty, but if you're trying to just like use it to get to work, it's just a work car. It's point A to point B. A car doesn't have to be
Yeah.
flashy. Like I said, I drive a.
I
Prius.
no,
mean,
of course not. And I don't.
I could have bought something far more expensive if I really wanted to.
Yeah,
but I didn't.
and the thing is, like,
What is your car budget?
I never even wanted a flashy car. I never wanted some big fancy whatever kind of car. I just wanted some like basic average car. But you know, obviously, would have been nice to have one that's brand new, or at least one that was used that had
I
low
wouldn't get a
mileage.
new car personally. I mean, you can, but new cars they're not good investments. The
Oh,
depreciation.
I
on
agree.
it.
They're not. They're not.
Used cars
And
are
I
pretty
agree.
good. I mean, there's used cars.
I agree, but there's used cars and like used car dealerships, they can mark up those even used cars from even decades ago to being just as expensive or close to as like brand new cars that are like much newer.
You just
Like,
got to go to reputable ones. I mean, there's shady dealerships that do that, sure, but I mean, if you go to like a
I
larger,
would
like
say
lot,
most dealerships do that. At
I
least from
wouldn't
the
say
ones
most.
that
I mean,
I've seen.
it's a sales tactic for sure, but it's a sales tactic. They don't really expect you to know you could get them back down.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not
I
gonna
guess,
say
but I do
everybody
agree
does it,
though.
They do it.
I do agree though that brand new cars are a shitty investment, because even my mom makes the point that like, or not makes the point, but always tells me like the moment you, and even a lot of people joke about this online, like the moment you drive a new car off the lot, the second it's worth half of what you bought it for.
What
That's
I'm
how fucked up
basically
it is.
saying is, even with like used cars, man, not all of them are going to be junky. I mean, there's a lot of like automotive like manufacturers are pretty. Toyota's pretty good. Honda's pretty good. Mitsubishi's are good. There's a bunch of good ones that are out there.
Well,
for
when
new
I
cars.
say used cars, I'm
Subarus are
specific.
phenomenal. Those cars don't fucking break their tanks. They can be.
I
50
still
years
have
old
my
and shit.
Toyota 2005. It's still running
Yeah,
good.
see, they're great.
I mean,
yeah.
brand new. I had it brand new.
Yeah, Toyotas go forever.
Yeah.
To be honest, what I meant by used cars, I meant not like used from a dealership. I meant from not
secondhand cars for people sell their driveways. You can get them
yeah,
all the time. They're
I meant
everywhere.
those kind of cars.
Craigslist, you can buy
Most of
something
those
on there,
kinds of cars I've seen are just shit. They just suck, and just by looking at them.
I think they just look shitty, but it's not, like I said. If you want to escape your situation, and then when you want the nicer stuff, you can have nice stuff. Nobody's saying you can't, but you have to deal with the shit to get the shine. It's not really the same.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, the thing is though, like the problem is I just, I don't want a car that has like high mileage. And I know all these like secondhand cars from a lot of people will only want to like sell. Even when I look up used cars on the internet, most of the time, the ones even that are up to like $5,000, $8,000 even sometimes, are still like in the 100,000 plus mileage range. And the reason why I'm like iffy and sketchy about that is because cars, when they usually have like a lot of mileage, that's when they start to have problems. And that's when people.
Just depends on the manufacturer, really. I mean, some.
Well, I guess
Toyotas can have 250,000 miles on like fucking sputtering in these.
Oh, interesting. Well,
you have to test drive them and find out. I mean, if it
yeah,
drives smooth,
course,
that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Of course, and I agree, but the thing is, like,
would you ever take Pebric's advice and have your dad co-sign a loan for you for a car?
well, yeah, of course, but he doesn't have that kind of money.
Another thing too, Marshall, do you ever sometimes kind of regret leaving your last job? Because how long has it been that you left your job, the last job? How many months?
Who are you? Who are you on this entire stick?
I left it in November of last year, so that's December 2022, January 2023, February 2023, March 2023. Now we're in April, so it's been almost 5 months, like 4 or 5 months.
You don't think? You don't think if sorry, just one more thing, Blazing, and then you could go ahead, because I have another question for this. You don't think if you stuck for those 5 months and you worked those extra days and overtime, I think by now you probably would have had something like what,
Apstreamz has behind him, a computer, maybe a PS5.
It's an $800 computer. It runs everything. Everything.
Yeah, I mean, you don't sometimes regret it. Like, man, if I stuck at that job and I just sacrificed my days off and I worked overtime, I probably would have had, that computer. Well, it doesn't have to be 10,000.
I will say, I do have a little teeny weeny part of me that does regret it, and I've kind of been vocal with my parents about it too. But at the same time, I try not to think about it too much because I don't want to dwell on something I regret for too long, because it just adds to my, depression or whatever, as if I don't already have enough from years of, suffering ever since I was 15 years old. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, even if I stuck with my job, I doubt I would have done the overtime. And I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to lie or like bullshit with any of you guys. I'm just trying to tell you how it is for me personally. And I'm not judging people who work overtime. No, people who work overtime, I salute them, and that's great. I mean, good for them. All the best to them. But me personally, I'm just like I said before and earlier, I'm lazy, I'm selfish, I'm narcissistic, I'm self-centered and self-absorbed and like self-entitled, obviously. And it's like, if I want something, I want something. Like, if I only want to work 4 days a week, I only want to work 4 days a week. I don't want to work 5 or occasionally 6 or 7 days a week, even if that means earning less money, which is also painful at the same time. So it's like, when you only work like 4 days a week or 3 days a week or whatever, it's like you barely get any amount of a paycheck, and then it's like, well, fuck.
You gotta have more hours, man. I mean, the hours equate to the pay. Yeah. The pay doesn't increase. I mean, unless you're like the boss man, moving shit, not doing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, don't you worry too, Marshall? Like, what happens in a couple of years from now for you not saving up? I mean, you got to be sometimes wondering about, man, what's going to happen in 3, 5, 10 years from now? I mean, mom and pops ain't going to be around forever. You got to start thinking about that.
Maybe not even like a week, because you should. What are you going to do for an emergency fund? Because you should have at least a $500 emergency fund. Everybody should, at the very least.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, like, that's why I'm probably just going to settle for welfare and like food stamps if I can get it. And I hope to God that I can. And
you won't get it. I'm telling you right now. You live with your parents, and your dad used to be a doctor. He was making close to $200,000, which I understand is not a whole lot with 9 kids, but that throws you way out of welfare. Welfare is people like poverty line.
He doesn't even really work that much.
$20,000 a year. That's gonna be like a part-time.
He's practically retired, and honestly, in a way, my parents say, well, at least my dad says that I could maybe get it, because in a way, I'm kind of independent, because I'm not like on my dad's even insurance, because I'm not even 25 anymore.
They're gonna look at you living there.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, they look at where you live. If you were living on the streets, then yeah, I'm gonna tell you, go become home. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. But they're gonna look at where you live, and you live in a moderately decently nice house. They're not gonna get it. Is what I'm saying.
I wouldn't say it's a nice house, but
I've seen the inside of it. It's not terrible. Absolutely.
I mean, it's better to start something now. I mean, it's better to think about and start something now than later on it just comes crashing down, and then you're going to be put in a situation like, holy shit, what am I going to do now?
Like I said,
they're
going
to look at his parents' assets.
I know, I hear you, but
have some kind of thing going on.
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me and difficult for me to really like.
You gotta try.
I don't know.
You'll never know if it's difficult for sure. Just looking at it.
And here's the thing:
you have to try for longer than a week or a month or 2 or 3 months. You won't know if something's right for you till you hit 6 months or a year, even. You gotta throw some time in it. You gotta go through that ringer, man. We all have to do it.
Yeah, I know, but honestly, like, I don't know, like,
that's just how it is, man. You're a man,
hey, Marshall.
To be honest, here's the thing though about welfare though too. Like, every state has a different thing, and like, I have a brother, for example, who one of my younger brothers lives out in California with some of his relatives, and he's on welfare or like food stamps or whatever.
Have you ever asked him how he feels about being on welfare though? I mean,
I'm sure he likes it. I'm sure he likes it.
I don't think anybody really likes welfare. I really don't. I don't think there's a person.
I didn't even like being on food stamps. I stopped after a year of food stamps. I just felt.
Did you get some kind of shame for it, right? Like, it feels embarrassing using them.
Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, even people who have jobs still get food stamps because they're like, they don't want to have to spend their money that they get from their jobs on food because they'd rather, you know, get government money to buy the food or whatever. I don't know, like, you know, so that way they can save more money. I mean, it's just like, I don't know, like.
Well, not all of them are, Joe. I mean, I've seen some people around here where they actually sell their food stamp cards to people. That's why they go and, you know, get food stamps all the time, every month, because they try to, you know, go and sell it to people. I think there's a word for it, but I can't think of it right now. I used to know a bunch of them selling it on the corner, like their own food stamps for cash and all that.
There's
yeah.
People do it all the time.
Yeah,
well, food stamps and welfare are going to be two entirely different things, or two entirely different programs.
Yeah. I mean, of course I know that, but like, ultimately, you know, the reason why I'm the way that I am is because, you know, this is the whole black pill defeatist mindset. You know, being an incel and being a failure and being a loser for so many years, you know, this is the path that many young men are taking nowadays. And, you know, even though maybe there's a part of them that wishes they would do something about it, they just don't have the drive. They don't have the motivation. They're lost. They're, you know, they're just too broken to do anything. And now even like more women are falling into this. And for women, it's easy though, because they can just sell their pussy and titties and whatever online and get a shit ton of money and even become millionaires and shit. And
most OnlyFans girls won't even pull like a livable wage off OnlyFans. A very small percentage.
Well, I'm not even talking about OnlyFans. I'm talking about girls who are smart, who become famous off Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I mean, as long as they're moderately or mildly attractive, I mean, the simps will just flood to them just like a swarm. And they'll just
depends on the girl, really. I know girls that are quote unquote tens that don't make jack shit. They don't have full large followings. They don't make anything off their own. They don't get any views on their Twitch.
Well, that's shocking though. But like, I'm
luck.
saying,
it's past the
I'm not even just talking about OnlyFans though. I'm talking about
I'm putting all aspects of it, all aspects of the industry in there. It's going to be for all of them. Not every beautiful woman can go to like Hollywood and become an instant just for sucking a dick of a drink. It's not realistically ever going to happen. It's going to be a very select group of individuals that do it. And
sure, of course, I agree. I absolutely agree. But at the same time,
the quote unquote simps, they're getting something more than just looks. They're getting some kind of personality or connection is how they feel. And some of those girls that just like rely on their looks, have no personality, they don't succeed because they have nothing that works.
Well, honestly, a lot of the girls that I know of, not personally, of course, but just who are like famous because they're a Twitch star or they have also a TikTok account that they're famous off of, maybe YouTube channel, maybe Instagram, whatever, a Twitter and all this shit. You know, they're like really attractive, but they're also really shallow and
I'll try to bring you guys
full of themselves. And it's not like they really even care about the Sims. They only care about them because they make them rich. And it's like, I mean, of course they pretend to love the Sims. They pretend to care about them. They pretend to appreciate them and like be so grateful for them. But like at the end of the day, you know, that's all a load of bullshit because they're just pretending to, because it's like the Sims are what make them rich. If Sims didn't exist, if it wasn't for them, a lot of these women who are jobless and who refuse to work a job wouldn't be becoming rich off of selling their feet pics or whatever they're selling or doing online to become rich.
I don't want to buy it.
If Sims were not a thing and never were, I mean, so many of these women would be practically femcells. They'd be bums. They'd be living in their mom's or dad's basement or parents. I mean, they'd be just in the same place that many, you know, loser, failure young men are. So, like, I don't know. A lot of women just have.
I see it, Isaac, man. I've been in this industry a very long time, either behind the scenes or on screen. I may not be very successful at it, but I've been on here I've been in this entire industry a very long time.
I believe you.
Very long time. It's probably going on about 15, 20 years by now.
Damn.
Give or take. I know what works and what doesn't. I just don't implement it myself because
interesting.
I don't have the personality myself personally. I don't really ever see this being a long-term endeavor, but I do understand what works.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm trying to tell you the advice with that, like even like the quote unquote easy mode. There's not really an easy mode really for women either. A lot of people say they believe it, but there's not. It's for some sure, but not all. You can't just be a pretty face. You have to have something more past that.
Well, yeah, possibly, but I don't think they just mean in terms of like internet success. I think they also mean women live life on easy mode because, it's not like they ever have to have the pressure to, approach guys, make the first move, initiate first contact. They just have to stand there and look pretty and wait for confident, extroverted man whores to come by and, swoop them off their feet or whatever. Whereas guys have
body count doesn't equate. That's though it doesn't. A body count, it's meaningless.
Yeah, I'm not saying it does, but in our society puts a lot of like, oh well, you have high body count, you're a whore or man whore, oh you're so cool and wonderful and great, and we're gonna like put you up on a pedestal and like glorify you, kiss the ground you walk on. Whereas if you're like a virgin, you'll get made fun of and shamed and humiliated and belittled and all this other shit.
I don't think personally in my life I've ever seen a virgin actually get made fun of. Not in real life. I think like people that get made fun of on the internet get made fun of on the internet, but you can turn the internet off. Away from it.
Yeah, of course.
I
do.
I don't think anybody in real life would come up here like, hey, you look like a fucking virgin, you fucking loser.
Of course not. But I'm what I mean is if you were like an honest virgin, like in real life, you'd probably be laughed at by like girls.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, personally, I've seen videos of it. I mean, maybe they're fake, but I don't know.
That's the thing with videos, though, man. I'd have to see an organic thing that I know for a fact is not being recorded to really draw any belief. I'm not trying to like kill your worldviews or anything like that. I'm just trying to challenge them a bit for your own benefit.
Yeah, I know, I understand, and that's fine. That's good.
You don't think you think you rely too much on the internet? Like, hey, that's how real life is. Because every time you talk about something, it just kind of feels like you think that everything you see on the internet happens in real life. A lot of times that's not the way it is, in my opinion,
Well, yeah, of course. I know that not everything on the internet is real life. I mean, I'm not dumb and stupid, but I do think a lot of what I do see on the internet is real. And like, for example, like when all these guys are like, oh, not all girls are the same, and this or that or whatever, and it's like, and they're like, oh, that's just on the internet, and it's like, no, they're real girls who were interviewed in real life on the street from whatever city in whatever country saying like whatever, and it's like, and then this just makes incel men become more hopeless because then they're like wow, women will never change and they'll never accept us incel men, they'll never go for us. It's just over. It's never gonna get better. I don't know, like, and and then like when it comes to like the videos that women will make on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, that's of course all fake and like shallow, and they're just trying to be funny and like cute or whatever with those videos. But when it comes to like women genuinely being interviewed on the street, I think they're genuinely giving their honest opinion or feeling about introverted guys or guys who are virgins or guys who are incels or guys who are this or guys who are that. And
I got a couple people that do want to pop in here for like a few brief questions. I'm gonna let them do that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to add them right now. I don't know how many people can have in here without paying for it. But let's.
Yo, hey, can you hear me, bro?
I can hear you, Sam.
Hey, Marshall, I got like only like 1 or 2 questions for you.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
I was just saying, why do you think it's weird? Why do you think it's weird for girls to like give head? Like, how's that weird?
Because, in my opinion, I think it's disgusting, and I mean, but you're putting your private part inside a girl's mouth, and by doing so, you're degrading her, and you're belittling her and treating her like she's nothing. And by doing so, you're also taking away any maybe dignity or like honor that she or respect that she maybe even had for herself, maybe even without realizing. And also like you're putting your cum inside her mouth and she's swallowing it. And so now her mouth and breath is just going to smell and reek of dick or cum or whatever. And I mean, it's just fucking weird, and it's not normal. It's not fucking natural, and also it's fucking overrated. I mean, it's
I mean,
stupid.
it's actually like, I mean, dude, it's not that
80
bad, you know?
fucking 90%
really
of
not.
people do that shit. It's fucking retarded.
Plus, not all women eat cum, Marshall.
I got you, Blake.
Not all of
Oh,
them
some
swallow,
spit.
dude.
I never said all of them. I said most, though, and
Oh,
that is a
okay.
fact. That is a fact.
I think it's
so
subjective. I
fucking
think a lot of facts are subjective. You know, it's just.
Well, I mean, at least I've heard from other people online who've come to me and said to me themselves that, like, well, like 80% or 90% of women suck dick. So good luck trying to find a woman who's never done that or never taken dick up the ass. And like,
I think
same thing.
Most
with,
women, if you ask them not to suck your dick, would probably not suck your dick. I mean, I don't think they just want to. Do
yeah,
it
of course,
nonstop,
but I'm saying just in
know,
general. I'm not saying
generality though.
you
You can establish that in your relationship. Like, hey, I'm not into this. But
I'm not saying like if
then
you
again,
were
they
to,
can turn down one of
I'm
your
saying like
things,
before you would even meet a woman to tell her like you don't want her to do that, she's probably sucked a lot of dicks. And I've said in my videos, even if a woman
you can't hold the past against people. I think
Well,
you gotta leave the past where it belongs.
I
Like,
personally
past,
do. That's just me. That's my opinion. And you know, if a woman, I've said this in my videos, and this is just me. It's who I am at the end of the day. You know, I know you all have your own beliefs and own opinions, but like I've said this in my videos, and I've said it many times over that if a woman even did it one time, that would be no for me. No, even just one time.
I mean,
just
like,
one.
bro, like
You
you
wouldn't
gotta
even be
realize
friends
like
with
90% of
people,
them
right?
have
What?
done that, you know?
You said before that you would like write off and not even be friends with anyone who's ever given or received oral sex.
Yeah, absolutely. If I knew beforehand, then absolutely not. No fucking way.
See, that's way too high of a litmus test for people, Marshall. I mean, 99% of people have had oral sex, so you're walling yourself off from like ever having a social life by doing that.
You and I talk quite a bit on Instagram, Isaac. I mean, I enjoy getting head quite a bit. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I know, but
like, how you know you're not gonna like it if you haven't done it?
To be fair, I mean, to be fair, you and I don't talk about that. Like, I do have some friends who are
about it. I'm
some,
open, whatever you want to know.
but at the same time, most of my friends, I do try to make most of my friends incels online.
I won't be an incel.
The majority. And
online, I didn't hear that.
You know, the thing
Marshall,
is,
Marshall, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Okay. So I don't know if you remember me. I've sometimes commented on your videos. And you have said in your past videos that you always have been suffered for your entire life, right?
Not my entire life, but since I have been like 15.
Yeah. Okay. But why isn't it that you you know, trying to or at least try to, like, you know, better your situation? Like, because you always only talk about the negative things. You don't never try to sort of do something positive for yourself.
Well, that's because I'm a black pill. I've taken the black pill all the way, and you know I have a very dark and negative mindset. I don't know what else to say about that.
But Marshall, the black pill is not really the reality. You need to come out and talk to people, because you know those people that you're around on the internet, they have the same problems as you, but the majority of people don't have these problems.
Hey, can I say one thing after one more thing after him?
Great. I love the people I'm friends with on the internet. Any incel friends that I make on the internet,
but to
I
better
love them
yourself,
so much
man,
because
to better yourself,
they
you
also
have to
they
challenge
also
your
share the
ideals.
same beliefs that I do. So it's great. It's a win-win for me.
But it's just an echo chamber. It just becomes an echo chamber. You can't grow past these problems.
Negative circle jerk.
Because I know deep down, regardless of what you portray, you want to change. You do. Everybody does. Everybody wants to be better than they were yesterday. They do. It's an irrefutable part of the human condition.
Well, to be honest,
you can't do that by surrounding yourself with the same exact kinds of people. These people in here, even if they have trolled you in the past or have challenged you in the past, they give a shit about you to some level. You notice that none of them have come in here, even like despite like roasting your comment sections. Not one of them has been disrespectful to you. Not one.
Yeah, I know, and that's because I've kept my cool, and I'm honestly surprised that I didn't just like.
I don't think they would lose their respect for you, even if you didn't lose your cool. I don't think they came. I know,
but at the same time, I feel like if I did, because I've lost my cool in a lot of my YouTube videos, and that's all it took for a bunch of people to like, I'm gonna report him to the FBI, I'm gonna report him to the police, and it's like, I know even my mom said before I did this that if I would have gone off, if I would have snapped, all they have to do is, you know, contact the FBI and show them what you said, or police or whatever. So it's like, that's part of the reason I've tried my best to just like keep myself intact and not like just go the fuck off. And
like I said, like before we started this, I thought like bringing you in here would kind of like relax the Pebric and Blazing kind of thing. Like they would get to kind of like know you instead of just being like this.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did this.
I'm also putting that same challenge on you to accept the different viewpoints as constructive criticism instead of what you view as just trolling. Because some of it may be trolling, sure, but it's not harmful. It's not people just like swatting you nonstop or anything like that.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing? It's kind of important. Yeah, hey, bro, you're 26, right?
Yes.
Yeah, hey, bro. Yeah, me and you the same age, but like I'm just saying, bro. Like I was in that same situation. Like I know how bad that shit feels, bro. And like I used to not think that I could do it, and then yeah, my birthday was in February 25, and bro, God behold, I did it like 2 weeks before my 26, bro. So you can do it, man. You know, you just gotta like actually go out and do shit, bro. You feel me?
I don't want to do that because I don't want to be a part of this world. Like I'm specifically only for the incel community, and as long as I'm alive, I'm always gonna be an incel. So if a woman
I'm
does,
just saying, miracles happen, bro. Miracles happen. Like
I believe that. I believe
incel.is admin. He got a bunch of shit on Twitter from.
Trust me, I believe in miracles. So I agree with you there. I agree with you about miracles can happen, and you know, and I will say this. I try to be a little bit hopeful and optimistic that maybe if there is some miracle, that by some miracle, God willing, hopefully, that you know, I'll get a woman in my life who hopefully to God is a virgin and hates people who sucks dick and takes dick up the ass and maybe has the same a lot of the same views and beliefs I do, which would be a dream come true and just awesome.
But nowadays, that's like very, very, very hard to find, bro. Like that's most girls our age have done
that. And then that pisses me off even more because of how rare it is. But just because of how rare it is doesn't mean it doesn't exist and that it's not like out there somewhere. It's just that it's hard to find and rare. That's it. And like, that's why
if you don't get out there, you won't find it. Even if, I mean, it's already astronomically low that you're going to encounter that. But just kind of like staying in the same sphere and not like leaving your house or even like your town or Michigan or anything.
Well, I know, but the thing is, like,
you know, it's going to make it harder.
Reason I don't like leave my house though is because like I'm a homebody. Like you know, that's one thing I'm pretty sure I've said in a lot of my videos. Like I'm a recluse. I'm an introvert. It's not like I mean I still go out. I'm not antisocial. I'm not antisocial. Like, but you know, I don't enjoy going out into the world and doing things because I hate people, and not everyone, but most people. And the people who I love and hold very high regard for is my incel friends online, no matter who they are, where they are in the world. But it's just I've never met them in person, which is heartbreaking for me because it would be really great if I could meet some of my incel friends in person. That would be, you know, awesome if I could, you know, ever, sooner or later.
Marshall. Oh, Marshall. Sorry.
Pebric has wanted to come and visit you and hang out with you for a couple of days, and I still can't understand why you won't let him.
Well, he's not an incel. I mean, what's
I know he's not an incel,
but he wants to help you, man. Like I see him like as like a big brother, you know what I mean?
I know
like,
he wants to help me, but I mean, with all due respect, I never was friends with him. And I know he may have said that, and I know a lot of you may think like that he's my friend, it's not like I don't believe he doesn't want what's best for me. It's not that I don't believe that, but it's just that I myself personally do not want to change. And you know, it's really irritating for me to be, you know, a guy on the internet and to have the presence that I do and to have all these people come to me thinking that I was trying to like cry out for help or beg and plead on like my fucking knees for like some blue-pilled cocksuckers to come and try to give me some like help or bullshit ass half-ass advice that I never asked for or wanted in the first place. It would have been one thing if I did, if I would have said, hey, like, I'm, you know, desperate here and I'm begging and pleading you guys to like please send me, help, advice, tell me what I should do with my life. But no, I just wanted to be somebody who was heard. I wanted to be like somebody who just wanted to vent and rant my frustrations and my, whatever on my YouTube channel. And by doing so, also getting a lot of like sympathy and empathy and compassion and understanding. And I did get a lot of that. And I would say for the most part, surprisingly, I got that for the most part, way more than I did trolling. And way more than I got people who were like more like, so like you guys, no offense to you guys, I got more people like me, which really was shocking. And, I got a lot of the guys who are incels and black-pilled and hate women and were angry and bitter and resentful and jealous and envious and all that shit and like anti-anal and oral and, and it makes me feel great. The more and more people that I have been able to attract like that, the more better I feel, and it's like it gives me a high.
It's a public
It's
forum.
like,
I don't think,
and I kind of look at it as an accomplishment. So like, I guess like I have that to be like kind of happy about, or like
I get repercussions, or so be it.
Well,
Marshall, can I?
Another thing though is that the reason why I, got interested in you is because I know you don't want to believe this, but you remind me a lot of me back when I was in my 20s.
I know. I
used to be the guy who used to get pissed off when a girl was with a guy. I was the guy who used to say, when I used to work at my old job, I used to tell myself, how come that girl doesn't want to get with someone like me? I used to think in my head where, man, I wish I could beat the shit out of that boyfriend so I could impress the girl. And
I wouldn't blame you.
After a while, I kind of realized, you know what? I mean, the biggest problem, yes, there are women out there who are bitches, but not all of them. And I kind of realized, and it was a big eye opener that I realized, shit, I think the problem is me because I don't put myself out there. I don't step out of my comfort zone to try to go and talk to someone and put some effort. And once I realized that the biggest problem was me, my life got better. I stopped thinking that way. I stopped looking at the negativity in women and blaming women that they're the problem. And, it's everybody else's fault except me. And the thing about you, Marshall, from my experience, you got to let go of the past. You got to let go of the past and just try to better yourself, You rely too much in the past, dude.
I'm sorry.
Been there too. Every last person.
I sincerely mean this too. I'm sorry, but I cannot change. Like I don't.
We all said that same shit. We all did. Every last one of us said that. All of us.
But here's the thing. I don't want to disappoint you guys, but I know you guys are wrong because you think too highly of me. And even incels do, but incels actually
because we see potential for you to warrant.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, incels think highly of me too, but incels have.
Why don't you try our way of thinking and stuff in that? For like
well, I don't want to because I don't have the same mindset. Or like
you could though. You don't have to live exactly how you. None of the people here live. I know,
and I agree with the fact that I don't have
commonalities. You just have to adopt the commonalities.
Here's the thing too that I want to say. Like, even incels think highly of me, but they should, because to a lot of the incels online, like, and not that I think of myself as this. Because even when I would get comments like this, I would say, no, I'm not. Like, I would have guys say to me that I was a god. Like, and I don't think of myself as a god. I am not a god. There's only one true God. But there would be a lot of guys who would say, bro, you're a god. You're a king. Like, I don't mind being called the king or like a leader maybe amongst incel community or like fucking general of revolution or some shit. But yeah, I'm not a god. I'm not a god.
Marshall, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Or it's not a question. It's something I want to. So, I'm sort of in your situation, or I once were. I mean, I'm 32. I actually also come from a really religious background. I do agree on you with the whole oral and anal thing. I do find that to be a sin. But the thing is that I also used to be like you, that life was sort of meaningless. And I didn't really have any purpose in life, but I sort of stopped procrastinating and then instead tried to sort of, find another way in life and try to like improve myself. And I just don't understand why you can't do that, because I mean, if you keep staying in the same position forever, I mean, you're not going to change and you're always going to have that same view. So, I mean, what was the point of making all these videos ranting about never having a girlfriend, not having a job, and, you know, because you're not really going anywhere with it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and I want to touch on everything you said, and my phone's getting low percent, 45%. Hopefully, man, I hate it how fast my phone percentage goes down when I'm doing a live stream. But anyways,
It'll last, Marshall.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Anyways, and I can't believe it's almost 10 p.m. where I live too. It's crazy. Anyways, the whole point for me doing my YouTube channel, and I talked about this earlier in this live stream, by the way, and I've even touched on this in my YouTube videos, and I thought I did a really good job, or at least the best I could do, which was the fact that the reason I started my YouTube channel wasn't because it was a call for help. That it wasn't because of that. It wasn't because I was desperate or begging or pleading on my knees to be like, oh, I need help. I need advice. You know, please, everyone, tell me what to do. What do I need to do to change or whatever? No, I did it for pretty much a selfish reason. I did it because I wanted to do it to feel good. I wanted to do it so that I could reel in and attract as many people as possible like me, which is not selfish. I wanted to be a voice for people who didn't have a voice, who are maybe too camera shy even, or too introverted, even more so than me, to the point where they can't even get up on camera and show their face, or they can't even like talk even with like a black screen without even showing their face. Like, and like also like
be more admirable to like be a beacon instead of just like a detriment?
No, because the whole point of being an incel and a part of this community is so that you can just make other incels feel better about not being alone and not being like.
Wasn't the original idea though to escape the community? Like, wasn't that what the community was about? A shared experience that they wanted to.
Well, I don't think it was necessarily about escaping the community. I think originally it was just like originally the woman who started it in the late 90s.
I think she
just started
like
it for other people.
Dating, yeah. I read
and
about
she doesn't like what it became now.
She hates what it became.
Yeah. But even when she first originally started it, she said it was supposed to be a community for both genders to kind of complain and whine and bitch about it, and maybe by that way, you know, maybe get together with each other who were both, you know, whiners and complainers and bitchers or whatever.
Doesn't
and
that just reaffirm what I just said though about trying to escape the community, and that's the whole point of it?
Well, kind of in a way, technically, but they still, in a way, probably kept a lot of the same, you know, negative mindsets, maybe even after getting together. And that's only if anyone did get together when she originally started the website, because I don't even know if anyone did when she originally started it back in the late 90s. And like, I don't know, like, because that, you know, community or website or whatever didn't become really popular until the men took it over and turned it what it is in today, and even for like years now, since like 2014 or whatever.
That better?
But Marshall, can I ask you another question?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, it's just
Sorry,
that,
it was loud
you know,
as
as I mentioned before, I'm also 32 and I never had a girlfriend myself. And, you know, I went fine with it. Like, I live with it. It's okay. But I just wanted to know what difference will it make for you to have a girlfriend? Because, you know, a lot of people in my family have been married and have had relationships and it just didn't go well and they were better off single. I'm just one of those people. And I'm just wondering, like, what if you actually I mean, what does a girlfriend do to you? Like, how do you think you would feel about it?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you that I am truly sorry that you never had anyone. And I do think it's good.
No, I have good parents and all that. I have brothers and stuff, and I have like nephews and all that. I'm just more happy alone.
I'm glad for you. I'm glad for you that you have that. Really, I am. And I kind of have that too. I have parents and I have, you know, a family or whatever. I mean, if I didn't have parents and a family, I would probably have, I don't know, taken my life or some shit, and even years ago, I don't know. But anyways, like, you know, there are some people, even, you know,
I'll put him at 80.
guys and girls that are still single in their 20s, 30s, or 40s or whatever, 50s, and they're not bothered by it. They're not, you know, triggered or bitter or whatever. But that's only for some people. And I'm not trying to like, oh, like exclude those people or whatever. But at the same time, like for most guys who are single, they're miserable. They're depressed. They're suicidal. They're stressed out. They're bitter. They're vengeful. They're angry. Some of them are really insane and violent. Most of them are jealous and envious and just absolutely crushed and damaged beyond repair. And when it comes to guys like me and them, we believe, in our opinion, in our mind at least, in our belief system, that if we were to, hypothetically speaking, get with a girlfriend or especially wife, that we would become happier because, you know, a lot of people, for example, online will be like, you know, if incels are so miserable and depressed and suicidal and stressed out and blah, 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 why can't they just pay for sex and shit like that? And then incels are like, what the fuck? And they're like, you know, if we felt that way, we would just pay for sex. But they'll be like, incels will kind of like counterattack those fuckers and be like, you know, why should we have to pay for something that, you know, most guys get for free? And that's a great point. But a lot of people will just blow off anything incels say in return. Or like incels will be like, you know, it's not just the sex part that us incel men crave and desire and want and wish for and dream about and all this shit. It's, you know, the relationship aspect too. It's, you know, being in a relationship with someone, not just like, oh, someone to have sex with over and over and over or whatever. And I don't know, like, and I can understand that because I'm an incel. But when it comes to people who aren't incels, they can't. They find it pretty much impossible to understand incels and our mindset, our belief system, our ideology, our whatever. I mean,
did you want to come say something to him?
You know, it's the same way with any group of people. If you're not a part of any group of people, you can't really understand them until you've walked in their shoes. I mean, that's a famous saying.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Marco.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is, though, isn't one of the reasons why you don't want to change is because you're afraid that if you change, all that incel community is not going to have your back anymore? They're not going to support you? Is that one of the reasons why you don't want to change at all?
No, actually, it's not. Like, if there are incels who do get with someone, like, it's not like I will hold a grudge between an incel, or like, I don't think they would even hold a grudge against me, and I wouldn't hold a grudge against them. But at the same time, I do have
got annoyed with the girl at Popeyes. You got annoyed when you found out she had a boyfriend. You got mad when that girl from the church or the girl from Popeyes. I mean, you said you left your job because the girl from Popeyes.
Though. I'm talking about if incels specifically got with someone, I wouldn't hold a grudge against them because of how much they suffered and how much I know it sucks ass to be an incel.
I think they would hold a grudge. They had a one of the lead admins, or the actual admin for the forum incels.is got with a woman, and his entire community turned on him. The entire
even Royal on Air posted something about incel community.
That's what I saw. From Royal. Yeah, they were pissed off about it. Really mad.
Yeah. Well, and personally, to me, that's understandable. But at the same time, like, other guys have said to me who are incels, like, if you were ever able to get a girlfriend, like, we wouldn't be mad at you, or if I'm like, if other incels got a girlfriend or wife, I wouldn't be mad at them either. It's when, like, that's just my opinion, though. And to be fair, I don't think it's all incels. I don't think it's all incels who are like, oh, you got with someone, fuck you, or whatever. But I do have a belief system that, like, if you're a guy and you got with a girl, like, if you say we're in your like mid or late 20s or early 30s or early 40s, and you eventually got with a girl, I don't think you were truly an incel. Because if you were truly fully an incel, you probably would never have gotten with a girl. And I mean like a real incel, 100% authentic incel. And because there are a lot of incels who even like I remember I had a discussion with one of my brothers about this too, the one who's in California, that like 40%, and this was like a certain amount of years ago too, because he left for California a certain amount of years ago. And this was like, I don't know, few years ago or something like that, where he was like 40% of guys who will even claim to be or label themselves as incels will actually have had girlfriends or slept with girls. And those insults are fucking stupid as hell, because it's like they just want to be a part of something and feel like cool and great or whatever. And that's pathetic. Because if you're not actually a raging virgin, then you shouldn't be lying about that shit just so you can feel like you're a part of some sort of movement, especially a movement as like, you know, messed up as the incel community. It's like, if you're a guy and you're not actually raging virgin, why would you even want to be a part of that community? But it's sad because that's how our world is. Like, everyone wants to be a part of something, and it's kind of deep in a way if you think about it like that. And I think it's tragic, honestly, like, because if you're not actually someone like a community that you're being a part of, and yet you still want to be just so that you can, you know, feel like you're a part of something and feel like big and powerful and great or cool or whatever, it's just pathetic. And it's just mean to all those other people who are actually like the people of that community they are, and then you're just kind of like posing as one of them. It's just, I don't know, it's just fucked up. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
I know you can do it, man. You just gotta try, you know.
Dominique, I think Dominique has a question. Give me one sec. Dominique.
Marshall Mathers IV, I have a question to ask you. You seem to always talk about me, but if you do find that traditional woman, what would you provide to her in return?
That's a good question.
Personally, if I were to find that traditional girl, hypothetically speaking, who's practically non-existent and extinct, which is another thing that pisses off a lot of incel guys, and a true incel guy will in fact not only hate women who sleep around, as they should, but also sexually active men, and also like angry at them and jealous and envious of them. But even those incel guys, most of them don't go out and do acts of violence. Even as insane as they are, maybe like in their beliefs and opinions, most of them still don't go out and do violent stuff like that. And I'm living proof of that. And
but Marshall, I need to tell you this.
Just wait, I was almost going to get to the question too. If
okay,
I were
cousin.
to deal with the traditional girl, I would offer her or provide to her, you know, that I would love her to the ends of the earth. Like, not only that, but I would be extremely shocked if I even were to find a girl like that in this world who would be like a fucking like diamond in the dust or something, or a gem, or I don't know what they would call something that's like rare or something. And you know, I would just be, I would probably cry tears of joy, because it would be like, wow, the fact that I even found a woman like this who even still exists would just be just mind blowing. And just, I would have to have a moment to even collect myself, because I'd just be like, I would be kind of like, is this even real? Like, oh man.
Hey, can I ask you a question though? Oh shit, no, Dominique.
Oh, thank you very much, sweetie. Listen, Marshall, I really do hope that you do find that someone. But the thing is, you may love her a lot, but what are you going to provide to her? Because a girl needs a man to provide food on the table, to support. Because me, honestly, I may be a bomb-ass TPE love doll, but it's not just about you, Marshall. It's about both of you if you do find that girl. What would you give to her? You need to work hard.
I mean, if I did find a girl like that, I would say if I would probably get a job. No, actually, I would like, and like, if there's anything that would motivate me and drive me enough to getting a job and sticking with a job, it would be finding a girl like that. If anything in this world were to make me get a job and stick with one, it would have to be that. But that's all.
Marshall, do you remember that I offered to buy you a subscription to a dating service if you held down your job?
Dating services don't mean that, oh, the girl's gonna be a virgin or this or that. Like, and I honestly don't even like American women. Like, I like women. I am somewhat hopeful and optimistic of women from like other countries, like Eastern European countries, or like countries where they at least have some more traditions and morals than American women, who are just complete whores. And even in a lot of
Christian, what about Christian Mingle? Would you try Christian Mingle? Would you try ChristianMingle.com?
Even with that, even a lot of so-called Christian women in America and other Western countries, you know, they just like the label to make themselves look good. And, you know, being a Christian doesn't really even mean anything. Like, you know, if you're actually out there and doing actions as a Christian, that's something, instead of just saying like, oh yeah, I go to church every Sunday and I sometimes read the Bible, I pray before I eat, I donate to charities, and I help the homeless down at the soup kitchen, and I did that. A lot of people will just say that because they want to look good and they want other people to like respect them.
Keeps kind
they
of
don't
going back to the same
care
subject.
about like
It doesn't matter what
God
we bring up.
and like what
It
God
just
wants
seems to go
them
back
to do,
to whatever
and
he
like,
wants to talk about.
you know, pride is one of the sins too. It's
I don't know
like,
if Tammy got this from him.
you know, and a lot of people will go to church just so that they can show off like how nicely they dress or their car or whatever, how
he's pretty much video form at this point.
Their family is or something. Like, if I'm gonna find a girl, it would, if anything, it would have to be a girl from another country, because I've just given up.
How are
on
you gonna
America.
do that without leaving the country, though? You know?
How are you gonna do that
I know it
Need
does.
money
I'm
for that.
sorry. I can't make him stop.
I know, and that's the thing. And it's not like
back to juicy stuff.
I'm saying that's gonna happen. I'm just saying, like, if hypothetically speaking,
But Marshall, I have maybe an idea. Maybe you should try the Amish people, those like super Christian people who live like without technology and like live in the 1800s or something like that. You should try them. They are pretty traditional. Like, I know you're Catholic and all, but you should try them.
The thing is, though,
But do they
they're in
poop in
with all
Pennsylvania.
due
They're not far away
respect,
from you.
they're not Catholic. With all due respect, they're not Catholic, and I would not want to do that, because that would be weird, because I'm a guy who uses technology a lot, and I am not a guy who's like completely like shut off from the world like they are. No offense to them. Like, I don't hate Amish people, and I don't have like any like ill will towards them or whatever, but like, you know, I'm obviously connected to the grid to an extent, to a certain extent, to a certain degree.
Like I said,
and
nobody's been disrespectful.
You know, it wouldn't make sense for me to realistically to want to get with an Amish girl. That would just be extremely incredibly bizarre and weird. And I mean, that would just, I don't know. That.
Well, I mean, you can also go to places like Lebanon, because they also do have quite a lot of Orthodox, like, and I can promise you something. A lot of those like Middle Eastern countries, like some of the girls, they do like white American men. Believe me.
I know. I know.
Yeah, so I mean, you have a lot of choices. You could go to Armenia, Georgia. I know, like, it's kind of hard, but
you can get your passport and come with me when I go out to Jordan.
So I mean, I don't know. You have a lot of choices, but it's just up to you.
I do have a passport, but my passport's gonna expire next year, so.
Marshall, what about Jehovah's Witnesses? I mentioned that in one of my videos, that maybe you could possibly
no,
find a girl like that.
Jehovah's Witnesses, absolutely not. They're one of the worst branches of Christianity. They're interesting, but
my wife is a Jehovah's.
Oh, well, I mean, I find them pretty odd and strange. Like, if I were to get with a girl, I would expect her to be Catholic, like 100% all the way, or at least to an extent would be better than not at all. Like, not at all Catholic.
What about an Orthodox?
That'd be fine too. You know, Orthodox or Catholic. Fine with either.
Okay. I know Jehovah's Witnesses, they're quite extreme. I know some of them even hate the churches.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, it's just that they do have some weird things about them. That's the only reason. And I say that too because when I was like a little kid, we were visited by Jehovah's Witness people sometimes. So that's why I have some of the beliefs about them that I do.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
mean, I do understand because I'm also quite religious, so I do understand it's quite hard these days to find a religious woman.
It is. It is.
I agree with you on that one.
And I appreciate that. Thank you. Not many people say that to me, so that does really mean a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah, does someone had a question to ask to Marshall before?
Oh yeah. I had to ask him. I was gonna ask him a question. Bro, are you like afraid to do it with the girl?
Afraid to do
You know
what?
I mean? Like, are you like fuck a girl? You're like you scared or something?
To fuck a girl? You said?
Yeah.
No, of course not.
Okay,
You know,
okay. I was just asking.
I know Pebric, and to be honest, sometimes I do laugh at it, but I think Pebric's just joking when he says it, because like, yeah, I do sometimes say in my videos I'm scared and or like afraid of attractive women, but a lot of incels online say that. But what's funny is a lot of incels online will make all these TikTok and Instagram edits and shit about how they're like afraid or scared of women, just women in general. But when I'll comment on those edits, I'll be like real or literally me, but I'm only scared or afraid or intimidated by attractive ones, which are the ones that I want. And I don't know if they're talking about those ones, which they most likely are, because a lot of their edits will also be like, oh, like women that I want when I'm talking to them that I'm interested in, and then women I have no interest in, how I talk to them. And they'll have like these two different movie clips, or like from two different movies, or like maybe a movie with like a same actor, but then like a different clip from a different movie, and then like put them together. And it's funny. So like, it's understandable and relatable to me, but like, I wouldn't be scared or afraid of, having sex, or like scared or afraid of vagina or whatever like Pebric likes to joke about. And I'm sure he's just joking and it's like whatever, but like, because I've never said that in my videos, so I don't know why he says it. But like, I to be fair, in his defense, I know I do say that I'm scared and afraid of attractive women, because I am, and I'm just being honest with it, with that.
Marshall, do you now regret that you turned down that girl who asked you out now that you're older and that was a while ago?
Fuck no. I've said that in some of my videos, and I know a lot of people give me a lot of shit about that, but of course I don't regret that. And it's fine. People can have their own opinions at the end of the day, because like I said, people are going to have their own opinions about me at the end of the day, just as I am about myself and other people as well. And, of course, a lot of people judge me and bash me and attack me and just get up all on my ass about how I rejected just one damn girl who I do not feel bad or sorry for one bit, because it's not like she became some fucking femcel or some shit, or like fell into like depression or whatever.
Could have been the one.
Not only that, Marshall, but
I highly doubt it. And it's not fair to me, because I would be taking advantage of her because I was not attracted to her. That's not fair to me.
She wanted you, right? She wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guess what? I respected her for that, and it's not like I thought lowly of her for doing that. I thought it was pretty impressive.
How long ago was that?
A very long time
ago. He was
when I was
minor.
Oh, true.
He was like 16 or something, I think.
15, 16, 2012, 2013, when I was a freshman in high school. Yeah, long time ago. And
But Marshall, you don't think that sometimes like you wonder, man, what if I went forward with this girl? You don't sometimes wonder where she's at? She could probably be happily married right now.
She could have won the fucking lottery.
I know where she's at. She's probably being dicked down and probably has been for years since she was a teenager. She probably gave me a whore. So why the fuck should I feel sorry and bad for her? I mean, at the time I did, when I turned her down, I did feel a little bit guilty, as I should. I genuinely, on the inside, even though I may not have made it seem like it, I felt a little bad for her. I felt kind of guilty.
What happened to her? What did she get? Was she like abused, or what happened? What do you mean you feel bad for her?
Well, because I rejected her. Obviously, like, rejecting someone is never, a fun thing that you should ever be proud of.
That's why you should
or
come
feel
out here,
good
Bubbles.
about. Like, oh yeah, I rejected that person. Serves them right.
But Marshall, another thing about that too is like, she did something that you don't want to do. She moved on and found someone else. You
No,
and the
she
other
found
one,
she found a bunch of guys that she slept around with and got eaten out and got her pussy ate and probably got dick down her mouth and up her stupid fucking ass and
this is probably the
became
last
a whore
bit of
most
content I'm
likely
making on
like
him, though, I think.
and like
Probably.
all the other girls I had
I might make some
actually
more.
crush on in high
Maybe.
school that I was actually genuinely extremely severely attracted to and wanted to fuck this shit out of. And
I've
I'm
gotta do the thing
sorry
of Royal
that
still.
I'm
I
kind
forgot
of
about that. Royal wants to do
kind of
one
insane here, a little bit
no, that's
unhinged.
okay. That's okay, dude.
So,
but the thing is,
we'll try
Marshall, is
that
like
out.
you have to like.
Yeah, you can pop up on that one.
It's like you take everything too
this one later on, I
personal.
don't know.
For example, like the girl from the church. That
Well, you can
bothered
put
you
them
a
on Royal or
lot.
something,
The
then.
girl from Popeye, that bothered you a lot.
I'll do
I mean,
all
you should
females
do what
besides
that girl
myself.
did.
I think that's
She moved on.
understandable, but I
Might be
think you would
interesting.
only understand if either you're an
Oh, it would be
incel
interesting.
or if you were in my shoes, in other words, or if at least you were someone who had even a little amount of compassion, sympathy, empathy, pity, sorrow, you know, feelings, human feelings that should be natural to be like, oh man, I'm sorry that, you know, that happened or that you had to go through that. I really, you know, feel bad for you. And
I
like,
occasionally have good
Yeah,
ones.
I know,
on rare
Marshall, but
occasions.
sometimes, you know, it's good to feel bad for someone, but sometimes you got to do things for yourself, man. I mean, nobody can always hold your hand. You got to do your part to better your life. You know, you got to step out
I'm not
there.
expecting everyone to always hold my hand. I just,
and I might have
I
that
love it
curveball
when
for him
people
too.
feel
He's
sorry
really
for
into
me,
Ukrainian
personally.
women, and I happen to know
I'm
a
not,
very,
you know,
very, very attractive
man.
Ukrainian woman.
Go ahead,
Bro, if you ever do get
Maybe
a girl,
she'll
man,
do this
like,
too. I'm not
do
sure.
not show her like that sad side of you, bro. Like they do not like that at all. You
They
know
don't
what I'm
want
saying?
negativity.
They do not
Well,
like that stuff.
Yeah, they
bro.
don't. They don't want to take
sorry,
care of
then I
their
guess
own
that's
children.
their loss because it's funny because there are a lot of like gothic emo girls or whatever who always are like sad or whatever on the internet, and like that doesn't bother me one bit. I don't care. I'd love to share my sadness with another sad girl. That'd be great. I'd love that.
Even if they
But
said they
So you
liked
like
it, bro,
goth
deep
girls
down
then,
inside
Marcel?
they don't. Like that's
well,
I would say you're
100%.
attracted
that's fucking
levels.
retarded
I'll give you that
because I don't
compliment.
know, like, you know,
I mean, you
Just saying,
can't.
like if you ever cried
It'd be
in front of
funny,
them or
though.
like some like
It'd be
sad
good.
shit
Oh,
like
you're
that,
welcome.
bro, like they would not be fucking with it. You know what I'm saying? So just
yeah,
like
well,
I don't know. You just
then
gotta
they're
be
fucking
a man,
retarded,
bro.
and that's their loss, I guess.
That's why, Marshall, that's why I told you should take a lot of these incel videos off your YouTube if you ever find someone, because they're going to see that and they're going to run.
I think you should just do like wilderness.
Well, great for them then. I guess
I still
you
think
know
that. I think that's his
that will
calling.
be their decision and choice though. I can't force, you know, a girl to, you know, stay with me if she doesn't want to, and I wouldn't. I'm not like that. So if she saw my incel content or if she saw my negative side, then fine. She can run for the hills for all I care. Good for her.
If you saw half the shit I wrote like, in high school, that got deleted a long time ago on purpose. It's just, it's like Zim just said, man. It's not good. You don't want that floating out there.
No, you don't.
I mean,
And
if there's like some real comedicness to it, sure, but there's
and it's not like I would always be negative, but it's like the thing is like if there was something I wanted to complain about, or if she wanted to complain about something, I would totally listen to her, and I would hope and expect that she would listen to me. And or if like I'm watching a sad movie or sad show and maybe she's watching with me, I would definitely cry and be all like affected by it. Like when I watch a really sad movie or show, I start shaking sometimes and trembling because how much it gets to me and how much, you know, it deeply affects me and moves me. And I'm sure even then a girl would probably be like, oh my God, he cries from this movie or show. Although I'm sure a lot of the movies and shows I watch, girls would probably not even bother watching because they'd be too dark and depressing for, you know, girls to watch. The kind of movies I like are extremely dark and messed up, sometimes even a little bit for me. But I
love
still
that shit actually. In movie form, they like it. Movie form because it's fiction.
Interesting. Or like a lot of the music I love is
that's all Erica watches dark weird.
Like I love a lot of depressing music, and you know, I'm sure a lot of girls like depressing music too. But I love depressing music. It's like
yeah, but it's
huge.
gonna be fiction. You're kind of embodying it.
Don't you think listening to depressing music all the time is like gonna make you more sad, bro? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I want though, because that's who I am. It's been who I have been and who I was for years now. It's just like it's kind of like when I said in a lot of my videos and even years ago in the past that, you know, because I've been suffering for so long, I am a projection of the feelings and emotions that I've harbored for so many years. I'm literally it's a projection of it by this point in my life. And I've been saying that since I was like fucking 20 years old or whatever. And, you know, because I've been with it for so long, I'm just like used to it and numb to it. And I just kind of accept it. You know, I don't know, like if that makes
But are
any
you
sense.
going through that right now? Are you still going through all that pain and suffering right now? Like stuff is happening to you right now in your life, or is that all that in the past? And if so, how come you can't just let that go? Because it just seems to me you're holding on to that.
No,
You're just
like
holding on to that.
it's not stuff that's just went on in the past. Like obviously I'm still suffering, but like there are times and occasions where I'm in a good mood or that I'm like positive or that I'm enjoying something like good food, a good movie, a good show, a good song, or whatever it is, a good book, or going outside and walking on the trail or whatever, or taking care of the animals we have in our house or some shit, or you know, doing something.
Hey, do you have any like hobbies like at all? Like, what do you like to do, bro? You know?
Not really anything, to tell you the truth. I mean, I pretty much said what I do. Like,
have you tried something? Have you tried a hobby like exercising, arts, building, crafting,
Pokemon cards?
No, like my only hobbies are things I do aside from like usually being on the internet that I have a huge addiction to that. And that's why I enjoy being off my phone, because being on my phone for too long, for too many days in a row is just way too stressful and overwhelming for me. So I enjoy the period of time I am off my phone for. But the longest I've been able to do it is only 2 weeks, and I wish I could do it for a month at least, and then maybe see if I can do it even more. But if I'm not using my phone,
didn't you just say hiking? I thought I could have swore you said something trails. That's a
well,
hobby.
We have a trail. We have a trail behind our house that it's not really like hiking. I just go on there to think about my suffering and to just like, you know, talk to myself like a crazy person and
metal detecting that.
And also like pretty much talk to myself about like I would walk on the trail to pretty much talk to myself about like what I would think my next YouTube video would be, or like talk in really a lot of depth and detail of Eminem's albums that I wish were released earlier and why, and all the reasons for each specific one, and other albums that I really wish and strongly believe he should have released also. Like, or it would just be a place for me to just go out and just look at nature and just.
That's a thought right now.
I don't
gotta
know.
confirm with her. She's a pretty busy person, but I'm gonna try to.
Are you thinking of coming back, Marshall?
But she loves incels.
I don't know. I mean,
they're her favorite kind of people.
I mean, you're still like the same way. I was hoping that maybe you were going to do something different, but if you're pretty much doing the same thing over and over, what is it going to be difficult for you to come back to YouTube? I mean, you're still doing the same thing.
You know,
the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Oh, this is going up right after this ends.
I am kind of insane. That's the point. I am kind of insane, or really, I don't know. And the thing is, like, what's funny though, when it comes to like all the Eminem albums I wish were released earlier, which are most,
Bubbles,
with the only exception being his music to be heard by albums,
I could add you to group chat with,
which were the only two I'm totally fine with when they came out.
Twitter,
but
that would work.
Every other one of his albums I wish would have been released earlier, and maybe when he was even a younger age, for like a couple of them, like Encore and Relapse, for example, and also like other albums that I wish he would have released when, especially he like came back after taking his 4-year like break in hiatus. He could have released a lot more.
You could be a rap historian. That's a hobby. You're good at that. You memorize these dates, man. I can't do that.
Yeah.
It's a hobby right there. So you found one you didn't even know you had.
I guess so. In a way, I guess you could look at it that. But what's funny is like sometimes when I think more and more and more about Eminem and his albums, I sometimes come up with other thoughts that even though I regurgitate a lot of the videos,
You could write
sometimes some
fan
of the
fiction.
things I'll add or say differently. So sometimes I do change up things. Some people just don't know it because they think that they're just gonna all be the same word for word, and that, oh, these videos again, oh my god. And even a lot of my incel friends are like, no man, we want the incel content. These videos are so dumb and pointless. And I enjoy my incel content the most, of course, because they do get me the most views. And
What's the point in views if you can't monetize the video?
well, I can, and I have been.
I think YouTube is kind of trying to push the entire thing out because Reddit banned you guys time ago. I think YouTube's going.
Well, I was never a fan. I was never on Reddit though with the incel community.
No, I mean, I'm just using it as an example. I just.
I know. I hear you. I hear you. But
I feel like you could. You're not going to get as many views as you could do if you just make incel content. It's a very small.
I know, but I was making money, even though it was only $100 a month. It's still something. It's better than nothing.
You can make 1,000. You can make 10,000 if you do something different. Hell, you could probably make 100,000.
Sometimes I even made,
but the incel content ain't going to do it, man.
Sometimes I even made more than 100 though. Sometimes, depending on how many videos I would upload. Like if I did a video every single day.
Yeah, they got to be quality though too, because a lot of that.
And here's the other thing: like my incel videos would get like thousands of views sometimes. Like some of them are like.
Did they watch the whole video though? Because I watched. Yeah, like I told you, I watched every one of your videos all the way through. I watched every last one of them.
Oh, I appreciate that. I really do. And honestly, I do think people do watch my videos all the way through. Sometimes, you know, they have to like do things so that they don't get like too bored, or sometimes some people will have to like speed them up, and that's fine. Whatever way you're able to watch them, it's cool. Like, or, you know, watch a little bit and then take a break and then watch more later. Like, but I do think people watch my videos all the way through.
You can see the analytics. My bad. Sorry.
Because like even when I see like comments on like all my incel videos, I can tell like that people will watch my videos all the way through, because a lot of their comments will be about like different sections of like a certain video of mine, and by that I'll be able to tell, well, these people obviously are watching it all the way through, and I appreciate that, because I do know that my videos are really long and I repeat myself a lot. But what's funny is a lot of my friends are not even bothered by how much I repeat myself in terms of my incel videos, that is, or like how long they are. You know, a lot of my friends love how long my videos are and they enjoy it. Like some people really genuinely love my 50-minute, hour-long, 45-minute, 40-minute long videos, even if they could be made in like 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes or whatever. I don't know. Like, so I mean, I kept doing them because like people enjoyed them. So it's like, and I enjoyed them too, of course, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing them.
So. Hey, Marshall, other thing, you said one time that you were very proud of the videos you make, correct?
Correct.
Okay, how come you don't feel proud working at a regular job? Because if you feel proud of just you making those videos, how come you don't feel the same way at a job that will pay you double, triple more than what you will make on YouTube right now? You know, how come you can't feel proud at a job, but you feel proud at a video that, you know, every month you used to make what, $100?
Yeah, or sometimes more.
I make $156 of everything.
Yeah, and like in your old job, you were making how much? You said that you potentially could have won what, like $500-600 every week if you worked the overtime, if not more. How come you don't feel proud on that?
No, if I worked the overtime, it would have been more like 700, 800, 900, maybe even 1,000 sometimes.
That's even better.
That's good, man.
And you could have feel proud for that.
That's almost $50,000 a year.
Yeah,
that's $50,000.
Yeah, well,
just about pre-tax.
I don't know. Like I don't know. I just, you know, it's not that I wasn't proud of that. Like I was happy to make money and I was proud of that. I never said that, but it didn't mean that I wasn't. It's just that, you know, my YouTube channel is not for like, you know, positive content. It's specifically targeted towards a certain group of people who love negativity. just like I do. And so it's like, you know, and the thing is, like, you know, there was a part of me that, of course, didn't like having a job, because even when I do have a job, there are other workers there that complain and whine and bitch about it, even though they may stick it out and stay with it and not quit, you know, no matter what job I do. And it's not like that makes me want to quit, because I love honesty. I love it when people
Everybody
really
does that at their jobs. Most people do that at their jobs. I bitch about my job constantly. Management's a fucking bunch.
Yeah,
every day in there, I see something I want to.
And a lot of people at my job, my job would be like, "Man, I miss freedom. Man, if only I had freedom. Man, fuck this job. Man, I didn't even want to come into work today." I remember this one guy who I made really good friends with, who was like a much older guy than me. He was like, "I was thinking about not even coming into work today. I was gonna just stay home. I was gonna be like, I was about to come in out, and then I was thinking, no, fuck it, I'm gonna go back home." And I would just laugh my ass off, and just like, because I was like, wow, people I can relate to even in the fucking workforce.
Yeah,
like,
but Marshall, another thing, these people who were complaining, did they have families? Did they have their own homes and everything? Were there like family people?
Some did, some didn't.
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I would understand why they would complain, but you didn't even have any of that, which means you could have gotten all that money to yourself. So you cannot really relate to them, kind of, because
no, I relate to them
better than
in terms of them complaining.
Yeah.
In terms
you didn't
of them
have to worry about kids, paying a mortgage. You had a roof over your head for free.
I'm not saying I relate to them about that. I'm saying I related to them in terms of just specifically when they were like complaining and bitching and kind of ranting in a way.
But they have a reason, though. In my opinion, they have a reason, because they got to worry about providing food on the table, getting clothes for their kids, paying a mortgage, all that stress.
Yeah, but they never said anything about that. They just hated, work, because it's like, oh man, day after day after day, 5, 6, occasionally 7 days a week, and it's like hardly any freedom, hardly any time to do what I want to do, and like, fuck this life. This life is so shit and boring and dull, and like, and of course, if they would have been like that towards the supervisor manager, they would all been fired right then and there. But it's like, they only would complain to the workers because they know that the workers will understand it and be able to like relate and whatnot. And that was what I related to them on, not like them, having families or like being in a relationship or whatever, but them just complaining. But yeah.
Everybody hates working, man, but you have to do it, dude. Like, you need money to live,
Marshall. And also what I told you too, Marshall, I told you when you first got your job, I made a video saying that what you got to do is celebrate when you get your first paycheck. Go have fun, go spend the money, have a good time, because if you were going to carry on that same attitude and not have fun, it's going to affect you. It's going to stress you out even more. That's why I told you, Marshall, go have fun with your first paycheck. Find something to go out every weekend, so it'll give you a reason why you go to work. Because you didn't do that, you're going to get stressed out. And I predicted that you were going to leave your job if you were not going to do that. And, that's what happened,
You can go out to eat by yourself, man. You don't have to always go with people to go do that. I do stuff by myself all the time. I go on my hikes by myself. I go to the park by myself. I go to Olive Garden by myself, like a fucking savage.
By myself.
Yeah, I do all that stuff too. You don't have to have people around you to be happy.
Yeah.
I know. And I can be happy without anybody near me, because I would only want incels with me anyway. So
I don't think you need that. I think time alone is
that's what I want.
better thing.
Yeah, you don't want more negativity, dude. Like,
that's making it worse for real.
It's just perpetuating the chamber of
other negative people make me happy, because then we can talk to each other. We can connect and
really positive.
Yeah, but that's negative reinforcement.
That's what I want. I've stated that many times over. I don't see what's so hard to understand about that.
So you want to remain miserable then? You want to remain miserable. You don't want to change.
I just like waking up and looking forward to things. That's what I like to do.
But to be honest, just positive people are the same way, because they want to be reinforced with other positive people.
No, sometimes it's okay to have negativity. You just can't have an unhealthy balance or have one where it just like takes over completely.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
okay to have
It's
negative
not,
days. I mean, I think about
it's
things
not
that
like
make me
that would
sad
be
from
the
time to time.
only topic of discussion. We would talk probably also about like our favorite incel type movies and shows and like
You
our
guys could do
favorite
like gyms
songs.
and stuff like that. You could do like activities together, and improve each other.
Yeah,
You could talk about
that's
those while you're on a treadmill, for example. I don't know. You can
yeah.
multitask.
I mean,
Is my point.
I mean, it
But
doesn't hurt, Marshall, if you and I hang out and I go introduce you to an escort. I mean, do something different. Go have fun. I mean, I sent you pictures of the beautiful Vanessa.
I think he got to do it the right
Right
way
to it.
though. I don't think like he should get like a worker or some shit like that. I think
Or,
he should go out and like
or,
find it, bro.
or probably just go out at a bar, you know, try to socialize.
Yeah, go to the
with something,
club.
Bar
you
is a
know?
great
Dude.
place.
Yeah.
I'd say go to the club, but
Marshall,
that
can I
takes
say
confidence
something?
though. So
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I mean, I understand that the concept of work can sometimes be hard. I mean, I work as an IT developer, and I work just this week. I worked almost 45 hours, and the thing really is that, you know, even though I don't have a girlfriend, even though I don't have a wife or anything like that, it's actually quite nice. I mean, I don't have much responsibility. I only have to pay for
Yeah,
myself, and
I hear
you
you.
know,
And obviously, like, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there are nice things about being single. But here's the thing about men. You know, what's interesting about both women and men, and this is a conversation I've had with my mom before too, and she agrees with this, that when men are single, they're much more miserable. They're happier overall when they're with someone. But when women are happier single, but when they're with someone, they're more miserable.
But why do you think that, Isaac? Is actually because women know how to like occupy themselves better than we do. Half of us,
Yeah, they
men,
do.
we usually isolate ourselves more. Like, I mean, I used to be a guy who isolated myself, like just like you. I used to sort of isolate myself. I don't hang around people. Like, I don't really have like friends that I talk to. I pretty much like to be by myself. But I read books. I watch movies. I walk. You know,
I do the
I keep
same
myself
thing.
occupied.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. So, yeah, we're
Yeah, I
like
mean,
in that sense, in that way at least.
because kids is just more responsibility, and it's gonna suck, especially if you want to have 8 kids, which I could imagine, since you're Catholic, you would like to have a big family.
Yeah, absolutely. Or I would want to, and I would try to for sure.
But it's also because I don't understand why you want to keep being miserable. Because why don't you want to move on? It's almost like you sort of like are too scared to change. It's like why I don't
Well,
understand.
yeah, there is a part of me that's too scared to change, but at the same time, it's like the only thing that would make me change is if I had nice things in my life, like ultimately a girlfriend or especially wife and kids. I know for a fact would change me, and I would, if that were to all happen all of a sudden, I would actually have a reason then to want to change. I would then, after getting that, and only after getting that, I would actually then
I
have
don't know
like a
why though.
reason
That's
and a desire
it
to
doesn't
want to
make any
change,
sense.
to want to
It
get
makes
better, to
none.
want to
It
grow, to
makes
want
zero
to evolve,
sense.
and all that shit. But in the
I
meantime,
get
like
miserable from time to
obviously,
time. I don't want
like,
to remain there. It's a horrible
you know,
sensation.
obviously,
Awful.
I'm gonna like say the way that I am.
I feel
But
like a lot of his
how
trauma originates from
That's the
people that
same
like
way
bullied him
for
in high
all
school.
insults.
I'm about to ask him
Ultimately,
about that
like,
here in a second.
But how are you going to get what you want when you don't want to put yourself out there? I mean, it's not going to come your way. You know?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I never said that. I hope
I
I
mean,
at
if you
least.
want a traditional girl or her being a virgin, I mean, what are you doing right now to find something like that? You know,
That's a
I
great
mean,
question, and honestly, like, it's just the mindset that I have is like, I just here's the thing, like, even if I did want to put effort forth, even if I did want to go out there and try to find something like that, I know because it's rare, there's really no point in trying. That's one of the reasons why I kind of hold myself back from trying to look for that. Second of all, like, I wouldn't even know where to look or
I did
where to
heroin
go,
for
or
20
like
years.
where should I start to try to
Every single
even at
fucking
least
day.
have a
I
chance at
changed.
finding
I
like
quit cold
a
turkey.
girl who would be Catholic, a virgin,
If I can do
a
that shit,
virtuous,
he can find somebody to
innocent,
fuck.
pure, not
That's
necessarily holy and perfect, because I'm not perfect. I have problems and issues, but like, and I wouldn't expect a girl to be perfect. I would just, expect and hope a girl to at least have some morals to an extent, kind of like I do. Like I'm not some saint, but at least there's like a limit to like what I do in my life. I mean, and you know, like I said, limits to what I think is good or bad, or I have like I don't know.
I mean,
if
bro,
that
you're
makes
not gonna
sense.
find it sitting at home. Like you gotta go. Like if it's make like a small step, bro. Go to the store one day, maybe the next day go to the mall. Like you're not gonna.
Yeah, but none of that is gonna work because at the store they're all whores. At the mall they're especially whores. I mean, it's just it's not like any.
How do you know they're all whores? How do you know they're all whores?
It's not like any virgin innocent virgin Catholic girl is going to be like, oh yeah, I want to go to a mall where all these girls are all.
I went to the club and I found a girl that was one, and I ended up getting her. Bro, it happens, dude. Trust me, it happens.
Well, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm just saying like it's rare, and usually girls like that would not go to clubs. So that's surprising because even Andrew Tate himself says that girls like that usually would not go to a club or go out or whatever. I mean, I think he did say in a video once that if a girl like that did go to a club, she'd be sitting all fucking by herself and being all awkward and shit. And like,
I mean, Marshall, no offense, but I feel like your view on women is sort of based on what you have read on the internet. And I used to be like that, and I also think you think all women are whores. And I actually would say in this way, I do agree with you to a certain extent. Yes, a lot of women have these tendencies, so do men. But you have to sort of get out of that echo chamber and sort of go out and talk to a lot more, at least talk to some women to realize that not all women are necessarily whores. A lot of women are also asexual.
I'm so annoyed with how all these people keep claiming and saying that I'm saying all women are this. No, I'm saying most. At least when it comes to westernized women, most are whores. That's not all, though. Most of them are.
You did say that you want to go to another country because the women here are all sewage or something like that.
Without a doubt, Bubbles.
They are. And, women are worse than men. And honestly, even when it comes to man whores, and I'm not trying to say man whores are better than women whores, but even man whores aren't always sleeping around with women. Even sometimes a man whore takes a break or isn't always going out and getting laid on women because it's so damn easy for them. It's so damn easy. They don't have to do any of the fucking work. They don't have to do any of the fucking effort. Nobody ever goes to them and tells them to change or put in the effort forth. They can be whatever fucking bullshit way they are, and men will accept a woman any way she is. Incel men say that all the time.
Yeah, but Marshall, who cares? Who cares what others think? Worry about you. You're the one who's dealing with all these problems, issues you have. Why don't you just try to fix you? I mean, who cares what other incels or what the whores say? I mean, go fix you first,
Yeah, but
you keep bringing everybody up everybody's telling me this and that. You got to put yourself out there. It's the same thing with me. I'm thinking of going to downtown LA and try to find myself a white girl. I don't want to do that. That's not my world, but I want to do it because I want to try to look for something, try to talk to someone.
Sometimes you got to do shit you don't want to do, man.
Yeah, I got to go to work tonight. Fuck.
That's not incel. That's not the incel way. That's not the black pilled way. Incels and black pills
break out that shit,
come to us.
It's not like being a Jedi, man. No honor in it.
Well, the whole black pilled incel ideology is that we expect the women to come to us, and if they don't, then that's their loss. I'm just saying.
No, it's your loss, dude. It's your loss.
You gotta. What are you at the
it's their loss because they don't have to fucking make the first move. They don't have to fucking initiate first contact. They just have to stand there, sit there, look pretty, and wait for some douchebag, extroverted, dumbass motherfucking man whore to come their way and fuck the shit out of them. It's fucking bullshit.
You could be the man whore to fuck the shit out of them, though.
Yeah.
It could be you. You could do that.
No,
I'm a whore too.
Because I'm not a man whore.
Maybe not be a man whore, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Well, I was a whore too. I've only seen a picture of your woman, but
I used to be a whore. I'm not anymore.
That's not who I am. I'm not an extrovert. I'm not an outgoing social guy. I'm not, somebody who goes
No,
out in
that's
the
what
world
really
and
won't.
does stuff. That's never been me, and it never will be, because I mean, I've been this way for years, and this is
it's
the
not
way
even a
I
real
plan
ideology.
on
They like
remaining
made it
for
up.
as
It's
long
not
as
like
I
the blue
live.
pill or
And
red pill, which are
I'm
like
just saying
backed by like
this
science
is
and shit
me.
like that.
I'm
But
not trying
Isaac,
to guys to
The black
like
pill is completely
change
like
or
a
like be
manifestation.
different or whatever, because I know
A
you're not.
complete
And
manifestation.
whatever you want to do, I'm not going to be
Oh,
like
it's dumb as fuck.
in
yeah.
your life trying to like tell you, oh, don't do
I'm still
that,
gonna try to
or
help this
like
dude
be
as much as I
like me
can.
or whatever, or
I might be
change.
looking like I'm
Like
being a
you
dick, but
guys
I gotta
do
get
you,
attention
I
for being
do
one.
me. I don't know. Like I'll. Plus, my phone now is at 29%, and it's almost 11 o'clock where
You're good,
I am.
man, because I gotta bounce here in about.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, I like that we had this conversation, though. I mean, I hope that I was able to put, some of this to try to make you guys understand me
They
more.
just wanted to see a little bit of commitment from you on something. I think like one of the major issues that you have, you don't back it up, but you did back it
can
up
I
today.
ask the last question?
I honestly thought you were gonna leave too.
Okay, I guess one last question would be fine. So go ahead.
Okay, so now you say that you're not good with women and all that. Isn't it time to sort of move on? Like, stop thinking about women, like, try to find other things in life to sort of occupy yourself with? I mean, I was never good with women, so I moved on, tried to find something else. I don't know.
Great. And some guys are able to do that just like you do, even some incels. But here's the thing, not all incels are the same. And I'm not one of those incel guys who's like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to move on and I'll just accept being a lonely loser virgin man. As long as I live, I'm going to vent my frustrations and rage and rant and complain and whine and bitch to some degree, to some form or whatever, to some extent, somehow, somewhere, someplace, wherever it may be. And I'm not just going to be the kind of incel or kind of single guy who's just going to be like, oh yeah, it's fine, I'll just accept being a lonely loser virgin who's just depressed all the time and miserable and pissed off at the world, and young married couples and young couples who are fucking their brains out, and I'm just gonna like be all smiley about it. No, I'm like, and neither are other incels, as we shouldn't be. And that's just, and for some single incel guys, they can move on and they are able to, and great for them. All the best and power to them. But again, not all incels are the same. Not all two snowflakes are alike. Not
bro,
all
I
people.
think when you get a girl, you're gonna get annoyed of her, bro.
That's possible too, but she'd probably be annoyed with me way sooner than I'd probably be annoyed with her. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know.
True.
I don't know.
I hope it gets better, man, because that shit does, that shit does suck, though.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
You have one last question, Blazing, or anything else?
Marshall, when is the last time you interacted with a woman your age, met a new woman and talked to her?
When I was a teenager, and even then, that was barely anything. I mean, that was years ago. It's like ancient times to me now, and I mean, it's like it was in a different life entirely. And
you don't feel like it's worth your time to try and get back out there and do it again?
Not really, to be honest. And that's just me personally. Do you have any more questions?
Yeah.
Other than that,
well, I have one more. Marshall, can I ask one more real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm yours.
Remember, I made the promise to you, and you probably saw it on Pebric's channel because I saw Mortal Kombat's comment. Both of us said we'd stop making videos about you if you turned things around and started to improve your life. Does that motivate you at all to change? That we'll stop? Because I'm not going to stop if you're not going to do anything different.
Well, then I guess you're not going to stop, and
And I bet you Blazing would help you.
Because here's the thing,
if you were to actually indulge the idea,
I will help you.
You get two things you want.
Well,
you get
again,
to stop having your Instagram leaks or whatever, and you get to stop having content made about you, at least on his part.
I never wanted.
You also get to maybe do the
Blazing. With all due respect, Blazing, I never wanted your bullshit ass advice. With all due respect, and no offense to you, apart from the internet, apart from YouTube, I never asked for your advice. I never wanted it or any of your advice. I didn't ever want any of your help. I didn't ask for it. Again, it would have been one thing if I asked for it and would have been like, desperate and would have been actually cry for help, but that was never who I was. That was never what my channel was about, or my videos, or my community posts, or whatever I posted to the internet.
Oh hell yeah,
you
that
know,
was mighty disrespectful.
and so
mighty.
You know, if you were in my shoes, you'd be just as annoyed. If you just wanted to be left alone.
I have a very similar background to you, Marshall.
Well, I find that kind of hard to believe, especially because you seem
you should see our kick messages then, because we all have that same background.
I mean, personally, Marshall, if somebody kept telling me over and over again, do this, do that, in my opinion, in my experience, I would have been like, maybe I should give it a try, you know? Maybe they're trying to tell me something that I don't understand. Sometimes it's good to have second opinions, people's opinions, you know? Sometimes you could be wrong. And how do you know it's bullshit what people tell you when you haven't even tried it out?
You know? Because it's the same fucking annoying bullshit advice over and over and over and over and over again.
Maybe you should just try it, bro.
Tell me like, oh, what? Like you keep regurgitating Eminem videos over and over and over and over. It's like you guys keep giving me the same regurgitated bullshit advice over and over and over. It goes both ways. You guys are being hypocrites by like giving me the same bullshit advice that I never asked or wanted in my defense. And then, it's like, oh, but when I do the same regurgitated Eminem videos, it's like, oh, you guys piss your pants over it or whatever. It's like, wow, like.
It's because, Marshall, the thing is, the advice we give you is something to try to benefit you. The stuff you do about Marshall is like, you know?
Maybe I don't see
it. Stop.
Maybe, and here's the thing, even if you don't stop, I can just stay off the internet. And as long as I'm off the internet, I'm not bothered by anything you guys do. So you guys are pretty much wasting your time anyways, because when I'm off the internet, I don't see or hear any of the dumb fucking retarded bullshit any of you say or do about me on the internet. And when I'm off the internet, I'm usually in a much better mood anywa's.
But the thing is, it doesn't look that way on your post that you put on Instagram. I mean, you're pissed off about, you know.
I'm gonna find something
because Blazing keeps, first of all, I'm not even making community posts. I'm writing them out, but then I'm screenshotting it, and then I'm discarding it, posting it to my Instagram account. And my fucking Instagram account is supposed to be private, but
how come you want to ban me, dude?
As I said, I am not your leaker.
That I'm probably friends with. Some bitch ass fucking faggot cocksucker is probably goddamn sending my shit to Blazing so that he can post it to his stupid fucking pussy ass YouTube channel. That's what's probably happening. And
Marshall,
because I'm pretty sure I'm not following Blazing420.
A little bit.
I'm pretty sure I'm not following him. And if I was, I would probably block him immediately if I knew I was. But otherwise, I don't know how the hell he's getting my stuff on my Instagram, because my Instagram account's private. Again, I always check it to make sure
I didn't think it said any slurs,
and
but I guess I was wrong.
Unless I'm following someone who's probably really in close with Blazing420, I don't know else how the fuck he's getting what I'm posting to my private Instagram account that's only supposed to be seen by my closest friends, with all due respect.
So basically, you kind of revealed that all this is actually bothering you. I mean, you keep saying that, I'll stay offline, but it just seems that you're still.
When I do stay offline, I actually am able to relax. I'm actually able to cool down. But the fucking moment I go back to the internet, all the stress, like literally, I could take off a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
That's how you know he actually cares. If you didn't,
the moment I go back on this pussy ass faggot, wretched, immoral, satanic, demonic internet, I get immediately, in a split second, in a fucking instant, all stressed out again. All this shit just comes right back into my head, and I feel like my brain's about to.
Why are you letting it bother you so much, though, bro? You should just don't give a fuck, bro. Like, come on.
Marshall, can I add something?
I'm a sensitive guy. So I'm sorry for being sensitive, but that's just the way I've always been in my entire life from the moment I was born. I don't know, like, some people are different. Some people are more thick-skinned than others. I'm not, and never was or have been. I've always been a sensitive guy since I was a little kid.
But Marshall, can I
I'm a very sensitive guy. I mean, I talk about my emotions all the time, but when stuff starts to bother me, I detach away from it.
Yeah, and that's what I try to do when I turn off my phone and take a break from the internet. And I love doing it because that way I'm not bothered or affected by,
Well, I'm just saying I don't let it stress me out, man. That's what I'm just saying. I
well,
don't
sadly, it does that to me.
I can teach you how to not let it stress you out. You just have to let me in, man. I'm trying to help you.
Also, Marshall, if you're going to be this soft, you should have at least, never gotten into the internet or uploaded, the past videos you did.
Before getting onto the internet, I didn't know how bad it would be. It's not my fault for not knowing that this is how the internet would have been. Because you have to understand, I grew up really sheltered. I don't know that much about the fucking world. But
you could.
I had no idea or clue what the internet was going to be like. Honest to God. And a lot of people may not believe me when I say that, but honest to God, I didn't. I had no fucking idea or clue. Not the slightest inkling that, when I make these videos, I'm going to be so attacked and doxxed and people are going to be out to get me when I accidentally admitted to being sexually attracted to teenage girls when I was 20 years old. 6 years ago in 2017, I had no idea that I was just going to be like, what the fuck? Just like this fucking hurricane or tsunami was going to fucking come at me on the internet. And my dad even thinks the internet is evil. And he even thinks most of the people on the internet are evil. I mean, honestly.
Marshall, can I add something just quick?
Yeah,
listen, I understand. I mean, if you're happy with the incel community, that's your choice. The reason why I sort of came here is because I tried to sort of understand you better. Because sometimes the things you say, sometimes I get a little bit mixed signals. It's like,
so it's gonna be
I know you don't like advice, but at least if you get some people's advice, even if you don't want to take it, at least you have something. And again, if you're happy with like the way you live, it's cool. But you also have to like understand that people don't agree with you, and it's hard for us.
I think that's fine. That's fine. I never said everyone has to agree with me. Of course, I know people are going to disagree with me. That's cool. I don't mind people disagreeing with me. I mind people trolling me and harassing me constantly. And by doing so, they're only wasting their time in their life doing dumb shit by attacking just one specific guy when they could be, doing something else with their life, way more productive. And there are way more incels on the internet, but none of them get bullied and harassed like I do. It's like I'm the only fucking incel on the internet, it seems like.
Yeah, they just don't make content.
I don't know. It's unfair too, because there are so many incels on the internet. The internet is like the safe haven in heaven for incels, like from all over the world.
Internet's like the Wild West, man. What I was saying, I didn't realize I was muted, but
and here's the thing:
why you get targeted is because you made content. That's it. The ones that make content are the ones that always get the flag. It's never going to be the commenters, because the commenters are just.
But I wanted to say to the guy Obelic.
I'll accept it a little bit.
I wanted to say to you that I appreciate you understanding me, because I honestly do feel with this discussion that out of all you guys, and I'm glad that we all had this time to debate each other or whatever. But I feel like you were the most understanding out of all of them, especially because you said that, you came from a religious background. And so you can understand me probably better than a lot of these other guys can.
Yeah, of course. Of course. But I hope that you find a way, because I also want to just to add this and say that I have seen some of Pebric's videos, and I just think he wanted to give you advice in a sort of sarcastic way. But I mean, I sort of also do understand if you just want to follow your own route in life. But that's
what I want to do. As long as I'm not hurting anyone, I don't really see the harm in it, and I'm not.
No, there's no harm. Only for you spiritually, like for you maybe. But I mean,
I don't. Yeah, and I don't mean to cut you off or talk over you, but I just wanted to say this really quick that that's another reason why I don't get why I'm so trolled and attacked. Because if I were harming people, I would deserve to get judged. I would deserve to get persecuted and, made fun of and stuff like that. If I were actually like doing harmful things to people or even to myself or whatever, but I'm not doing either. It's like, I'm not harming anyone except maybe myself at the most. And it's like, so why? It's like, why would I even, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense.
Marshall, the thing is, the internet is full of assholes. I mean, it's not a safe haven,
It's the worst place on the planet. Theory.
Well, maybe then these assholes on the internet need to change or take a look at themselves inward or something.
You can't do that. I mean,
you can't tell everybody to
to
change and not do it that you want. Yeah.
And I'm not saying
change.
I'm not saying changes in. I'm saying changes in stopping fucking assholes. Like, do your own fucking thing.
There's always going to be assholes, man.
There's always
never
going to be.
You just gotta not let it fuck
well,
with you so much,
there shouldn't be. People
there
should
be, but there always will be.
People should be more
I've got horrible things said about me online. It doesn't get
I get
to
it
me.
all the time too. I told you the fucking people call me a pedophile and DDoS on my shit when I stream Roblox. I told you about that on our first interview. I got fucking targeted by 4chan for months, but I survived.
Have thick skin, but I don't. And you know the reason why most people have thick skin on the internet is because most people on the internet don't get doxxed. They don't.
I've been doxxed several times.
Well, that sucks. I'm sorry.
I've had people show up to my house. Yeah, I know all about this. All about it.
I'm really sorry that happened to you because I can understand it relate. So, and doxing is even much worse than any of the trolling and harassment, bullying I've ever received. I wouldn't have even cared about getting trolled, harassed, and bullied and shit if I wouldn't have ever been doxed.
You lack self-awareness.
I would have actually been fine with all the harassment and trolling
emotes, by the way.
And
That's
mocking of me and shit.
Like
but it's when people know, like, oh my god, he lives in this state, and here's his new address, and here's photos of his fucking house, and here's what his fucking dad looks like. It's that's when it's like.
But didn't you dox yourself, Marshall? Didn't you said something about you thought somebody was going to give you a computer and you gave out your name or your information?
Yeah,
that was years ago, and I didn't never doxed my new address. And I never even told the location of my new address, and yet these fucking assholes online somehow found it still. And I think that's fucking creepy. Like, how the fuck did they do it? Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say one thing about this? Why then do you think doxing is so bad? And Mortal Kombat made that video exposing you for doxing someone. I don't support the doxing.
I never did dox someone though. Like, I tried before, but it's not like I ever actually like dox somebody because I never actually had anyone's address or exactly like their address or like what city and state they're from. It's like, and like what street they live on and all this shit. Like.
But you
as
said
much as I wish
that on that video.
As much as I wish I did, I don't. And if I did dox someone before, it's because somebody else told me about whoever. And that's only if it was even their true address or whatever. But it probably wasn't. So I don't know. Like,
maybe you should have just ignored them or something, Tell them that you have no part in the doxing. You don't support that, Yeah.
Well, I don't, but it's like when people do it to me, I want the same fucking shit to happen to them. And
well, that would make you a hypocrite, though. That would make you a hypocrite.
Yeah, I know it would make me a hypocrite, but guess what? Because I'm a young guy, even a lot of Catholic priests will say this. I've heard this in a sermon before. When you're young, you want justice and you want it now. Or another word, revenge. But when you're old, you want mercy. You want mercy. You want people to have mercy on you or God or whatever. Well, when you're young, because of being young, it makes you like, damn it, I want justice and I want it now. And that's how I feel because I'm a young guy and I just want, I don't know. Like, it's not like I'm saying I myself want to do it because I don't know who any of these guys are. So even if I wanted to get to them, I couldn't. But I'm just saying I wish something would happen to them or like karma. What comes around goes around because it doesn't look like anything bad's happening to these cocksuckers as much as they deserve it. And at least that's my opinion. That's where I stand. But anyways, I don't know, like,
well, I think we accomplished everything. I mean,
yeah.
It's.
Hey, you like the Joker though, right?
Hell yeah, he's one of my favorite, literally me characters.
I got you. Maybe this will brighten up your day a little bit. Ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. See, I told you this would be good for you. You sounded like you didn't want to do this, but it was good for you. I know deep down it was because you got angry towards the end, and when you elicit emotion, that means you give a shit about what's being said. So
Yeah,
they see it, I see it. You can lie to yourself all you want. We fucking see it.
Yeah.
But Marshall, I just want to say, follow God's, guide, and just, pray to God and just stay with God. I think that should help you. And I really think just from my perspective, I think you should stay off the internet because I don't think it's going to do anything good to you, nor for your mental health. If I also were you, I would also stay off the black pill just so you can get away from these thoughts. I'm not saying that you should change yourself, but at least get away from all this black pill and just, fill your head with some new things.
I will say this, Obelisk, is that, lately, when I do go to YouTube, I usually just listen to music. This is the only thing I really use YouTube for anymore, and sometimes commenting on certain videos. But usually I just use it for music, and that's about it. But usually I actually enjoy going on Instagram or TikTok more, but mainly even TikTok, even more so than Instagram, because I've been seeing a lot of black pilled videos on TikTok, even more so than Instagram. Sometimes Instagram, but not that often as I do TikTok. And I've saved and downloaded a lot of black pilled video edits on TikTok that I love. And I don't really love TikTok as a platform, but because of the black pilled videos, it's the only thing I really like about it. So that's the only reason I enjoy that. And at least when you block people on Instagram, they can't, see your account. Same with TikTok, same with Facebook and Twitter. But then with YouTube, you can block someone. They can still see your fucking videos. They just can't comment on them, which is bullshit. Because if YouTube were the same way as all those other platforms, if you block someone, they would not be able to see your channel anymore. And that would be great if YouTube were that advanced, but it's not. And of course, it probably never will be, but whatever. One can hope. But I do agree with staying off the internet because, like I said, the longer I stay off the internet, the happier and in a better mood I usually am. Not that I change myself, but just in general, I'm happier and
I mean, you can look up and research this. The internet doesn't have to be a detrimental place. Just don't go to any forums or.
Yeah.
You can go and read things and shit like that. I do that all the time.
Same here.
I look up fish for fish tank ideas because fish are fucking great. But
yeah, they are.
There you go. I found you something you can do. You could go participate in aquarium forums. I don't know, just constructive shit. I don't know, man. Yeah. But I enjoyed this. This is a good idea. I'm glad you did it, and I have grown more respect for you for actually doing it. And I think they have too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna continue to harass you now. You're not gonna get rid of me at all, Marshall.
Yeah.
I'm gonna harass you to be a better person. One of the days you were gonna comply, but I make that happen. But that's all we got time for tonight, guys. I appreciate you all.
Well, I don't want to disappoint.
Hey, I hope it gets better for you, bro. For real.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll catch all you crazy cats later. You guys got me on Kick. Hit me up on Twitter, whatever you want to do. You guys want to play some shit, talk some shit, whatever you want to do. I'm available. Appreciate it, guys.
All right.
I'll catch you all later.
Peace.
See ya.
Later, guys.
See ya.
See ya.